Chapter 22:12. They realized that there were more than 10 figures lying in a pool of blood beside the two of them. There were also 5 or 6 young men twitching nonstop. What? All the guards were killed. They couldn't believe it. When they saw those young men, their scalps went numb. What's going on? That's their young master. He's also lying on the ground? Could it be that he's also killed? When they saw that the young man was still breathing, they heaved a sigh of relief. However, all of their expressions were gloomy. These people actually dared to attack the young master of the general's residence. They really don't know what's good for them. Men, kill him for me. At this moment, an elder shouted coldly. His voice was like thunder, spreading in all directions. Whoosh! In the sky, 4 figures quickly descended. They were like lightning, emitting a terrifying aura. These were 4 peak 6-star kings, and each of them had an aura that was even stronger than that of the previous team. They were like killing gods as they rushed toward Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon quickly. 6-star kings? Hee, they don't know what's good for them. The Crimson Dragon sneered. He opened his mouth and spat out a ball of dragon flames. The terrifying dragon flames instantly surged out and enveloped the 4 6-star kings in front of him. Ah, 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 screams could be heard. The 4 of them were ignited by the flames, and they were screaming nonstop. Wherever it passed, the void was torn apart. Damn it! Behind them! The elder's expression became extremely gloomy when he saw this scene. Attack. Next to him, another 3 martial artists walked out. They quickly formed hand seals and spat out seawater. Boom, boom, boom. The seawater surged and completely enveloped the 4 6-star kings. They wanted to use the seawater to extinguish the flames. However, these people's expressions became extremely ugly. That was because the flames weren't extinguished at all. Instead, all the seawater near the flames evaporated and burned, forming clouds of white mist that shrouded the surroundings. For a moment, the surroundings were filled with white mist. Even their figures couldn't be seen clearly. As for the 4 6-star kings, they fell to the ground. Their bodies were charred black, and they were no longer breathing. Looking at this scene, the faces of the martial artists in the general's residence were extremely gloomy. That was because they didn't expect their opponent's methods to be so bizarre. That monstrous fire was not afraid of the seawater at all. It was impossible to extinguish it. One had to know that this seawater was no ordinary seawater. It was some kind of great divine ability. This was a type of deep-sea, Xian water, mystical ability. Once unleashed, ordinary flames were no match for it. Even the most powerful flames would be extinguished. However, not only was their opponent's flame completely fine, but it had also completely refined their deep-sea profound water. This was truly shocking. Damn it, who the hell are you? The old man asked coldly. He realized that these 2 people were not simple. Perhaps they had some background. However, when Lin Xian heard this, he sneered. What? Only now do you remember to ask about our identities. But it was too late. That's right, we're here to get rid of your general's residence. The Crimson Dragon roared from the side. What? Get rid of our general's residence? Hearing this, the people in the distance were stunned. Then they sneered disdainfully. Brat, I have to say, you guys are really idiots. Do you think you can get rid of the general's residence with just the 2 of you? The 2 of you may have some tricks up your sleeves, but you're too ignorant. Do you know where this place is? General Xian Ying's residence. There are many experts inside, and the formations are exquisite. Even if a peerless, mighty figure comes, he will be killed. Do you think the 2 of you can fight against them? Hee, it's just a general's residence. Why are you making it sound so powerful? Those who don't know might think that it's a palace. The Crimson Dragon sneered disdainfully. Show me what you've got. Let's see if you can stop Ben Wang today. Since you're courting death, I'll fulfill your wish. In front, a figure walked out. It was a middle-aged man with shoulder-length hair and a gloomy face. His eyes were filled with cold, murderous intent. Someone actually dares to behave atrociously in front of the general's residence. He's courting death. The murderous intent on his body was soaring to the sky. It directly shattered the void, and a terrifying aura shrouded the surroundings. He could no longer hold it in. He wanted to kill the other party. Mighty figure. Seeing that scene, Lin Xian narrowed his eyes, but he still had no intention of making a move. At the side, the Crimson Dragon revealed a disdainful expression. You're just a mighty figure. You don't have the right to be arrogant in front of us. I advise you to hurry up and attack together. Otherwise, you'll die miserably. You're courting death. Hearing that, the middle-aged, mighty figure was furious. He could not take it anymore. The other party was too arrogant and did not even take him seriously. He was a mighty figure. The two of them looked extremely strange, but thinking about it, they were definitely not mighty figures. Do you think mighty figures are cabbages? I cultivated for hundreds or thousands of years before I became a mighty figure. In the next moment, he laughed. You're courting death. With a wave of his arm, his green Taoist robe suddenly expanded, especially his sleeves, which turned into a monstrous green river that swept over. Boom. Pirates will die. The void instantly shattered, and a terrifying energy surged in all directions. The resplendent light filled the sky. How dare you behave so atrociously in front of me? The Crimson Dragon sneered disdainfully. He raised a pair of dragon claws and directly clawed at them. He was very bold, and he did not dodge at all. Seeing this scene, the people from the general's residence in the distance sneered disdainfully. A mere snake dares to resist the attack of a mighty figure with his bare hands? Isn't that courting death? However, they were soon stunned, because in front of them, the Crimson Dragon's dragon claws collided with the green energy, and a violent explosion immediately sounded. The void exploded in an instant as terrifying energy blasted out in all directions. However, the green robe was instantly torn apart. Bang! The expression of the middle-aged mighty figure on the other side changed. His robe was directly shattered, revealing a section of his arm. Damn it! How is this possible? The middle-aged mighty figure was extremely shocked. That was not an ordinary sleeve. That attack was called the Heaven and Earth Sleeve. It was a great divine ability that could store mountains and rivers with a raise of one's hand. Legend had it that when cultivated to the extreme, one could store an entire world. Now, that he had used such a great divine ability to deal with a mere snake, he did not expect that not only would it not work, but his Heaven and Earth Sleeve would also be destroyed by the other party. This really shocked him to the core. Damn it! Impossible! I don't believe it! The middle-aged mighty figure roared angrily, and his body emitted a resplendent light. In the next moment, he stretched out his large hand and grabbed again. Demonic flame hand. When he stretched out his palm, a green light flickered on it, turning into a strange green flame that burned strangely. An incomparably mysterious power burst out. The void that filled the sky was instantly shattered, and a terrifying green light covered the entire space. In an instant, the Crimson Dragon was enveloped. Chapter 22:13. The people from the general's residence sneered again. They were also stunned when they saw the universe in the sleeve being broken. They did not expect the other party to be so powerful, but now, when they saw the middle-aged man using the demonic flame hand, they were shocked. They became ferocious again. That was because the demonic flame hand was even more terrifying than the universe in the sleeve, especially the green flames that could burn everything. Playing with fire in front of me? You're courting death. Seeing this, the Crimson Dragon sneered. The Crimson Dragon sneered in disdain because his dragon flames were extremely terrifying. How dare the other party compete with the power of his flames? He was courting death. In the next moment, he opened his mouth and spat out clouds of dragon flames. Boom, boom. The terrifying dragon flames emitted light and surged forward. The entire void trembled, and the space was ignited in an instant because the power of the dragon flames was too terrifying. Bang! In the next moment, it collided with the demonic flame hand, making a shocking collision sound. A scream was heard, and everyone was stunned. The green light on the demonic flame hand was extinguished in an instant. Not only that, but cracks also began to appear on the dark green palm. Then it exploded with a loud bang. Ah! The middle-aged man screamed and retreated frantically, holding his bleeding arm. His face was extremely ferocious. Horror, extreme horror. He stared at the crimson dragon in front of him and felt his scalp go numb. Damn it! How is this possible? I don't believe it. The people behind were also stunned. How is this possible? That was the demonic flame hand, a great ability that was even more terrifying than the universe in the sleeve. The demonic flame hand could burn everything. In their opinion, they could kill the other party in an instant, but now the situation was out of their expectations. The terrifying demonic flame hand was shattered by the other party in an instant. They could not believe it at all. On the opposite side, the crimson dragon sneered. I told you, you're courting death by playing with fire in front of me. In the next moment, he waved his dragon claws and grabbed forward. This grab brought with it a domineering and powerful energy. It covered the entire sky and earth as it surged forward, wanting to envelop the middle-aged Almighty. Damn it! They had gone too far. The middle-aged Almighty being roared in anger. The other party had actually underestimated him and dared to treat him like this. He couldn't stand it. In the next moment, he roared, and the inner strength in his body surged out crazily. Demonic flame slash. Extinguish. Countless green flames jumped out of his body and turned into a green flaming saber that slashed down from the sky. Die for me. The flaming saber was incomparably terrifying. It directly shattered the void and crashed onto the dragon claw. Seeing this, the middle-aged mighty figure sneered. He was going to chop off the other party's hand to avenge himself. However, a moment later, he was scared out of his wits. What revenge? He didn't even dare to think about it. This was because his jade green flaming saber had directly broken through the opponent's dragon claw and smashed it into pieces. Not only that, the red claw descended from the sky. With an indomitable aura, it enveloped him. It was as if a red mountain was pressing down on him. No, save me. Unable to hold it in any longer, the middle-aged, mighty figure shrieked in terror. This was because he realized that his opponent was too strong. He couldn't withstand this claw attack at all. Therefore, he sent out a cry for help. Behind him, the warriors of the general's residence roared in anger when they saw this scene. They shot out beams of light in an attempt to save the middle-aged mighty figure. Boom, boom, boom. Countless energy blasted onto the dragon claw, but it had no effect. The crimson dragon's red dragon claw was very stable and impregnable. It blocked all the attacks. In the next moment, it mercilessly descended. Boom. With a slap of the claw, the illusory technique shattered, and countless cracks spread in all directions. Ah, the middle-aged, mighty figure screamed in agony as he was smashed into pieces. His body suddenly exploded and turned into a cloud of blood mist. What? He was killed. Seeing the scene, everyone was dumbfounded. In the distance, the warriors of the general's residence had ugly expressions, and their eyelids were twitching wildly. They couldn't believe that a mighty figure had been killed with a single slap. What kind of person was this? What kind of energy would be able to do this? Damn it. How could this be? The pupils of the old man leading the group also shrank abruptly. He realized that he had underestimated the other party. Originally, He thought that the two of them couldn't be mighty figures and couldn't block the attack of a mighty figure. But now, it seemed that he was very wrong. The other party's power was far above his. Thinking of this, he didn't dare to act tough anymore. He quickly opened his mouth and spat out a bronze shield, then slammed his palm on it. Clang! Clang, clang, clang! Sound waves spread out in all directions. Obviously, this was a kind of alarm. The old man was asking for help from the general's residence. Whoosh! Seeing this scene, the crimson dragon soared into the sky and spat out balls of dragon flames. The terrifying flames surged forward like waves. Run quickly! In front, the people of the general's residence were scared out of their wits when they saw this scene. This flame was something that could even burn a mighty figure to death. How could they resist it? So, in the next moment, they quickly fled. Puff, 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 puff. But at this moment, flaming spears appeared in the flames that filled the sky. They pierced through the void and pierced through all the warriors. Those people were pierced through and nailed to death in the void. Then they were engulfed by the flames and burned to ashes. Screams were heard one after another as the warriors fell in droves. But at this moment, dozens of lights rushed out from the general's residence. Each of them emitted a powerful aura like a god fiend as they soared into the sky. At the same time, angry roars were heard. Damn it! Stop it! Boom! A big blue palm slammed down from the sky and extinguished many of the flames. Buzz! A sharp blade light emitted a shocking light and slashed through the dragon flames, splitting the sea of flames in the sky. Boom! A bronze bell fell from the sky like a green mountain. It covered the remaining survivors and blocked the sea of flames. They were saved. The old man, who led the group, heaved a sigh of relief. He quickly waved the bronze shield in front of him to block the flames. He knew that the mighty figures of the general's residence had arrived. That's right. The ones who came this time were indeed the mighty figures of the general's residence. They were all mighty figures. Other than the ordinary lords, there were also elite mighty figures, and even a top mighty figure holding the fort. The arrival of such a group of mighty figures directly crushed the void. Countless cracks appeared in the sky as it couldn't withstand their aura at all. However, these mighty figures were like killing gods as they stared coldly in front of them. What was going on? Among them, one of the elite mighty figures frowned. The scene in front of him was really terrible. The door of the general's residence had been smashed by someone. Deep pits and cracks appeared on the ground below. The surrounding mountains and trees were completely burned. Even the green lake was evaporated. Corpses were everywhere, as blood flowed wildly. In the distance, the few young masters of the general's residence were also knocked to the ground as they twitched and screamed. Damn it! Was it the two of them who did it? Chapter 22:14. Damn it! Were the two of them the ones who did it? Before the surviving warriors could respond, the faces of these powerful beings darkened, and their eyes were filled with murderous intent. Damn it! They deserved to die. These people actually dared to cause trouble in the general's mansion. They deserved to die. They were very strange. Although they did not have a strong aura, they could actually kill powerful beings, especially that snake. It could spit out a type of flame that was very terrifying. The old man hurriedly told everyone what he knew about the situation so that he could remind them. Could kill powerful beings and had a strange flame? Hearing this, the newly arrived Almighties all frowned. No wonder, they had some tricks up their sleeves. But do you think you can behave atrociously in the general's mansion? You really don't know what death is. At this moment, the elite powerful being walked out. He had a cold smile on his face and his eyes were shining with a terrifying light. Kid, I will let you know the consequences of offending the general's mansion. The elite, powerful being emitted a terrifying aura. His body shone brightly and a terrifying red fist flew over. Boom. Support the original version. Pirates must die. When the fist was thrown out, there was a metallic sound. The terrifying fist was like a meteorite that pierced through the void. This attack was too sharp. It was unstoppable. Nothing could stop it. In an instant, it arrived in front of Lin Xian. Buzz. Looking at this terrifying fist, Lin Xian smiled disdainfully. Then he reached out his palm and grabbed forward. He dared to take the elite, powerful being's attack with his bare hands. He was courting death. Was this kid crazy or an idiot? In the distance, the people from the general's mansion sneered when they saw this scene. The surviving warriors also had a ferocious look on their faces. They knew that the Crimson Dragon was powerful, but they had never seen Lin Xian in action. In their opinion, Lin Xian should not be that strong. Now that he dared to take the elite's attack with his bare hands, he would definitely be smashed into pieces. The corner of the elite mighty figure's mouth curled up into a disdainful sneer. No one had ever dared to treat his attack like this, not even a warrior of the same level. The other party was just a kid, but he dared to be so arrogant. He was definitely dead. Boom. The next moment, a low voice sounded. Lin Xian grabbed his opponent's fist with his palm. However, the expected shattering scene did not happen. Lin Xian's palm was incomparably simple and unadorned. There were no cracks at all. He wasn't injured either. However, in the next moment, he exerted force in his palm, and the elite supreme being screamed in pain. That was because countless cracks had appeared on his glowing fist and were spreading rapidly. By the end, his entire arm was cracked. Crack! Then, Lin Xian exerted force in his palm and tore off the elite almighty's hand. Blood flowed wildly, dyeing the sky red. That elite supreme expert screamed, crazily, "Damn it, this is impossible. I don't believe it." The cultivators in the distance were also stunned, each and every one of them terrified. Heavens, what happened? The arm of an elite mighty figure was torn off by someone else? How did he do it? Was he even human? That elite supreme expert's expression became even more distorted. He didn't expect that his arm would be crippled as soon as he started fighting. This was intolerable. In the next moment, he roared angrily, pulled out an incomparably terrifying spear with his left hand, and quickly stabbed it out. Boom. This attack was like a bolt of lightning tearing through the void and instantly piercing through the space in front of him. Lin Xian was also pierced through by this spear. When the cultivators behind saw this scene, they all cheered. "That's great. We finally killed that kid." However, in the next moment, they were stunned. That was because they discovered that the figure that was pierced turned into a wisp of green smoke and dissipated with the wind. Damn it, it was an afterimage. Many people exclaimed. However, the pupils of the elite supreme expert who attacked constricted. That was because he felt an incomparably terrifying killing intent coming from behind him. Damn it! The elite supreme expert roared angrily, and the spear in his hand swept out, cutting off the entire space. However, it didn't hurt the other party at all. However, at this moment, a palm grabbed his head. Bang! In the next moment, a huge force came from the palm, and the elite supreme expert screamed in pain as blood flowed out of his 7 orifices. Not only that, but his body also fell like a meteor. Then he landed on the ground. Boom! The ground cracked open, and countless deep pits appeared. The elite supreme expert's body smashed into the ground. He struggled crazily, causing the cracks around him to become even more terrifying. However, a hand firmly grabbed his head, making it impossible for him to break free. This pair of hands naturally belonged to Lin Xian. He grabbed the elite supreme expert's head, and the corners of his mouth curled into a disdainful smile. Elite Supreme Expert? In my eyes, you're just trash. As he spoke, he exerted force with his palm, and a terrifying force surged out from his palm and poured into the Elite Supreme Expert's body. In an instant, the Elite Supreme Expert's flesh and internal organs were destroyed. With a bang, the Elite Supreme Expert turned into a snow mist. What? He was killed. Everyone went crazy. They didn't dare to believe it. That was an Elite Supreme Expert. He was killed so easily just like that. This made them feel like they were dreaming, especially those cultivators who had survived before. All of them trembled. Heavens, this young man was even more terrifying. Previously, they already thought that the Crimson Dragon was very terrifying. They didn't expect this handsome young man to be even more terrifying. He killed an Elite Supreme Expert with a raise of his hand. Damn it, who exactly were they? Could they be a top Supreme Expert? For a moment, everyone trembled and kept retreating. At the same time, they all looked at a figure in the field. This figure was that top Supreme Expert. The top Supreme Expert's face was extremely gloomy. He didn't expect this young man to have such power. To be honest, only a top Supreme Expert could kill an Elite Supreme Expert in an instant. The other party did it, and it was obvious that he had entered the ranks. However, he found it hard to believe that the other party had reached this realm at such a young age. He didn't know, but now he didn't have time to think about it. He had to attack and kill the other party. Boom. In the next moment, the top Supreme Expert made his move. His strength was several times stronger than that of an Elite Supreme Expert. Therefore, the moment he appeared, the surrounding void instantly collapsed. Boom. This pinnacle mighty being wielded a long black spear and stabbed out rapidly. Thousands of rays of light shot out in a row, piercing through the void and heading towards Lin Xian. Boom. Lin Xian's body swayed, and he dodged all the attacks like a flickering shadow. In the sky, black holes appeared one after another, unable to withstand this power at all. So terrifying. The cultivators watching the battle from afar were shocked. As expected of a top Supreme Expert, his strength definitely surpassed that of an Elite Supreme Expert. Probably no one below the level of a Supreme Expert could contend against him. Chapter 22:15. As expected of a pinnacle mighty figure, his strength definitely exceeded that of an elite mighty figure. Perhaps no one below the level of a peerless mighty figure could contend against him. Great, that kid can't fight back at all. He can only dodge. It seems like he's no match for a pinnacle mighty figure. That's right. This time when I catch him, I must tear him into pieces. I'll pull out his tendons and skin him alive. I'll make him suffer a fate worse than death. I must let him know the consequences of offending the general's residence. Cold laughter could be heard. In their opinion, this battle was already over. A pinnacle mighty figure could definitely suppress everything. That kid can't escape either. In the sky, the terrifying spear radiance was like a river of stars. It was extremely dazzling as it chased after Lin Xian. Lin Xian snorted coldly. Countless black flames appeared on his body and burned fiercely. He was like a god of fire as he charged forward. Hellfire spread out and surged forward, colliding with the spear radiance. Whoosh, whoosh. In the next moment, the spear radiance that filled the sky shattered. Those dazzling attacks were all burning. Damn it, how is this possible? The pinnacle mighty figure screamed. His eyes were filled with shock, because he had never thought that a young man could be so terrifying. No wonder those mighty figures were all killed. It seems that his opponent is indeed terrifying. Thinking of this, he did not dare to be careless. He gripped the black spear tightly with both hands, and the aura on his body erupted again. See dragon! With a thrust of the spear, energy surged and roared. On the other side, Lin Xian sneered. He did not waste any more time with his opponent. He directly drew the ancient dragon abyss sword and quickly slashed down. Boom! The sound of metal vibrating could be heard. The surrounding void trembled. The spear radiance that filled the sky was cut apart by the sword. Not only that, but countless cracks also appeared on the black spear. Damn it! How is this possible? The pinnacle mighty figure's expression finally changed. His eyes were filled with fear. If the other party was able to contend with him previously, he would be surprised. But now the other party had shattered all his attacks and even shattered his weapon. This was not just a surprise. He did not expect the other party to be so powerful. Damn it! Attack together. In the next moment, he roared. He wanted to gather all the mighty figures and attack together. He realized that the young man before him was unimaginably terrifying. However, as soon as his roar was heard, countless sharp sword lights appeared in the sky. Every single one of them was extremely terrifying, and they instantly enveloped him. Damn it! Block it for me! Upon seeing such a terrifying sword beam, the pinnacle mighty figure wanted to flee. However, his escape route had already been sealed, so he could only launch an attack to block it. The black spear in his hand was like a black river sweeping out horizontally. At the same time, a layer of armor appeared on his body, and 3 black shields appeared around him. Between the shields, blue lightning interweaved. This pinnacle almighty being still had Dharma treasures that he had yet to use. However, it was already too late. That torrential sword light had already slashed down. Clang! A sword chi slashed at the black spear. The black spear, which was originally full of cracks, was shattered into pieces. Pung! The other sword chi struck the black shield and split the lightning apart. Among them, 2 of the shields were sent flying, and one of the shields was split in half. Puff! In an instant, the defense that the pinnacle almighty being had created was gone, leaving only the armor on his body. However, his armor could not withstand such a terrifying sword chi and soon caved in. Puff! The pinnacle almighty being spat out blood. Countless ribs were broken, and his internal organs were damaged. He kept retreating, his body covered in blood. However, Lin Xian did not intend to let him go. Demon Seal. With one ultimate move, the terrifying sword chi tore through heaven and earth and instantly enveloped the pinnacle almighty being. The other mighty figures who wanted to charge forward were all stunned. They stopped and looked in front of them in surprise. That was because the sword chi in front of them was too terrifying. When the sword chi disappeared, they all screamed in horror. That was because the pinnacle almighty being had been killed. Damn it! How was that possible? Those people were crazy. That was a pinnacle almighty. That was right. He was the most powerful one among them. Even so, he was still killed. The other party's strength had already exceeded their imagination. Damn it! Hurry up and inform them. There's an expert attacking. At the same time, activate the array formation. An old man cried out in shock, his face full of fear. He knew that the current situation was still beyond what they could bear. They were not a match for the other party at all. They had to activate the array formation and let a peerless almighty being attack to suppress the other party. Boom, boom, boom. Countless rays of light lit up in the surroundings, and array formations quickly formed. A defensive array formation that was like a black tortoise completely enveloped the surroundings. Seeing the formation of the black tortoise defensive array, the mighty figures of the general's residence all heaved a sigh of relief. They looked forward with a hint of ferocity in their eyes. Damn brat, I'll definitely kill you today. With the defensive array formation, they regained their confidence. At least the array formation was extremely terrifying. No matter how powerful the other party was, he would not be able to break in for a while. Moreover, in addition to the defensive array formation, They also had an extremely terrifying offensive array formation. Now, they had to activate the offensive array formation to kill the other party. Buzz. The moment the array formation was activated, the 5 or 6 crippled young masters of the general's residence were also wrapped up by the array formation and sent to the side of the lords safely. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes when he saw that. However, he did not stop them. In the next moment, he looked at the sky and the mighty figures and sneered. Why? Do you think you're safe with the array formation? In my opinion, you still can't escape death. Humph, cut the crap. Die. On the other side, the mighty figures roared angrily as they activated the array formation. The offensive array formation was quickly formed, but it disappeared when it was only halfway formed. The energy in the surroundings retreated like the tide. How could this be? What happened? The mighty figures were all stunned. Why did their offensive array formation disappear? This shouldn't be. These people had blank looks on their faces. Many of them quickly performed hand seals, wanting to activate it again. However, they could not succeed at all. Damn it, what happened? These people were almost stunned, and their faces were extremely dark. However, that was not the most desperate thing. In the next moment, they experienced what true despair was. That was because Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon's figures flashed and directly entered the array formation. Damn it! How did you get in? These people screamed crazily, their faces full of horror. That was the Black Tortoise defensive array formation, which could block all the powerhouses outside. However, the two of them had entered in an instant. How did they break the array formation? The mighty figures swallowed their saliva and looked at Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon as if they had seen demons. They were extremely terrified. In the next moment, their scalps went numb, and they turned around to flee. Chapter 22:16. What a joke! The other party had already ignored the Black Tortoise defense formation. With the other party's combat strength, it would be very easy for him to kill them. Run! These people screamed and ran in all directions. More people fled into the depths of the general's mansion. That was because their true powerhouses were there. You want to run? Lin Xian sneered. The demon-slaying sword formation quickly formed under his feet, and streaks of blood-red sword chi-soared into the sky. Boom, boom, puffed. Some of the stronger powerhouses were sent flying by the sword chi, and they vomited large mouthfuls of blood. As for the weaker ones, they were directly pierced by the sword chi. Blood splattered in the air, dyeing the general's mansion red. Damn it! At this moment, an extremely angry voice was heard. It directly shattered the void and blocked all the sword chi. This voice was too terrifying. It was several times more terrifying than the previous top powerhouses. Hearing this voice, Lin Xian was stunned. The kings of the general's mansion were all ecstatic. A peerless powerhouse. A peerless powerhouse is here. We're saved. These people cheered wildly. That's right. It was indeed a peerless powerhouse. That terrifying aura crushed the 9 heavens. A figure descended from the sky like an immortal king, suppressing a part of the world. As soon as he appeared, he slapped out a large palm and sent all the blood-red sword chi flying. Immediately, the sky became clear again. A peerless powerhouse. Lin Xian also narrowed his eyes. He did not attack again. Instead, he stood in the void and looked ahead. The person in front looked to be in his 30s. His face was gloomy, and his gaze was solemn. His body emitted a terrifying aura, as if he had merged with the entire world. This aura made one's heart tremble. Indeed, it was a peerless powerhouse. Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon also had solemn expressions. A peerless powerhouse had surpassed the top powerhouses and had entered the realm of an 8-star king. It could be said to be extremely terrifying. An 8-star king could become a peerless powerhouse. However, if one were to break it down, there were 4 small stages in the 8-star king realm: early stage, mid-stage, late stage, and peak stage. The peerless powerhouse in front of them was at the early stage of an 8-star. However, this was also very terrifying. He could suppress a top powerhouse with a raise of his hand. Are you two the ones causing trouble in the general's mansion? Killed many martial artists from the general's mansion? The peerless Almighty said coldly as he stared coldly at Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon. That's right. It was us. The Crimson Dragon sneered. What? You think you can scare us just because you're a peerless Almighty? Let me tell you, it's not that simple. Today, everyone make way for me. We are going to take over the general's residence. Hearing these arrogant words, everyone's eyelids twitched violently. That peerless Almighty's face also turned gloomy, and an extremely cold killing intent erupted from his eyes. The surrounding temperature dropped sharply, and everyone swallowed their saliva. They knew that a storm was coming. Daring to behave atrociously in front of a peerless Almighty was definitely courting death. As expected, the peerless Almighty was enraged. He said coldly, "You really don't know what's good for you. Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish." As he spoke, he waved his sleeve, and a terrifying purple flame gushed out, instantly enveloping half of the sky. The terrifying temperature burned fiercely, and it charged toward Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon. The flame's aura was terrifying, and this energy made Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon frown. As expected of a peerless Almighty, he was indeed terrifying. Although he was shocked, he was not afraid. Lin Xian let out a long roar. Coincidentally, I've just made a breakthrough, and I haven't fought with a true peerless Almighty yet. Today, I'll use you as an offering to my sword. As he spoke, he pulled out the ancient Dragon Abyss sword with a clang. With a slash of the sword, a biting cold sword radiance tore through heaven and earth and slashed forward. What? He's going to attack a peerless Almighty? This brat is crazy. Everyone looked at this scene with their mouths agape, and they couldn't believe it. That was a peerless Almighty, a true expert who could suppress a top-notch Almighty with a raise of his hand. It was extremely terrifying. This brat in front of them actually dared to attack such an existence? Humph, he's courting death. Just wait, he'll be killed soon. Of course, no one dared to provoke a peerless Almighty. He's overestimating himself. Cold laughter could be heard. Those people from the general's residence didn't believe that Lin Xian could contend with a peerless Almighty. On the other side, the Crimson Dragon was floating in the sky. He squinted his eyes and said in a low voice, "A bunch of idiots. What do you know? You'll definitely be shocked to the point where your jaws drop." Indeed, as soon as he finished speaking, a series of exclamations could be heard from the general's residence. That was because in the sky, the biting cold sword radiance tore through the purple flames, forming a vacuum. What? The flames were torn apart? That's impossible. That was an attack from a peerless Almighty. How could he possibly contend against it? Those people from the general's residence went crazy. This was completely different from what they knew. That peerless Almighty was also stunned. He didn't expect Lin Xian to be able to tear apart his purple flames, but soon his face turned gloomy and monstrous killing intent appeared in his eyes. A terrifying aura burst out from his body and swept across heaven and earth. Boom. The purple flames in the sky surged and turned into terrifying killing intent that surged in the sky, trying to destroy Lin Xian. Not only that, countless purple flames gathered in the sky, forming mysterious runes that carried monstrous killing intent as they flickered in the sky. That was a terrifying superpower. Coupled with the power of the purple flames, it could definitely kill everything. He didn't believe that Lin Xian could contend against it. He could tell that Lin Xian was a young genius, but so what? No matter how talented he was too young. His foundation was too weak. There was no way Lin Xian could contend against an expert who had lived for thousands of years. But this time, the peerless Almighty was wrong. That was because he didn't know that although Lin Xian was young, the trump cards in his hands were extremely terrifying. Any one of them would be able to shock the world. Buzz. Indeed, when he saw the mysterious purple runes flickering in the sky, Lin Xian's expression turned solemn. However, he didn't move. He stopped moving, and his body released a terrifying sword, Aura, Chaotic Heaven Destroyer Sword. He swung the Dragon Source Ancient Sword, and a terrifying chaotic sword Aura surged out, crossing the sky. Every ray was extremely sharp. Boom, boom, boom. Once the sword radiance appeared, heaven and earth lost its color. The martial artists in the general's residence were also terrified. Boom, boom, boom. In the sky, the purple flame runes flickered, colliding with the sword Aura in the sky. Each time, they would be pierced through. However, those purple runes weren't ordinary superpowers. The monstrous energy was also from the Lotus Chaotic Sword, Aura. The two of them clashed in the sky, and they were evenly matched. A draw. How was that possible? Was that kid also a peerless Almighty? Everyone went crazy. What had they just seen? A young kid was actually fighting a peerless Almighty who had lived for thousands of years to a draw. Heavens, if this were to spread, it would definitely shock the world. Chapter 22:17. Who is this kid? Is he really just a teenager? Or is he an old monster that has lived for countless years? They were more willing to believe the latter. Hell's Ice Lotus. At that moment, Lin Xian waved his sword, and a Hell's Ice Blue Lotus quickly formed and floated in the sky. The terrifying power of ice and fire blended, shattering all the purple runes in the sky. Damn it, this kid actually has the upper hand. Seeing this scene, everyone was even more shocked. When the peerless Almighty saw that his opponent had actually suppressed him, his face became extremely gloomy. A trace of anger appeared in his eyes. In the next moment, he waved his hand. Buzz. Countless purple auras intertwined and condensed above his head. An incomparably ancient pagoda formed above him, emitting a mysterious aura. It was surrounded by runes, and as soon as it appeared, it crushed the void like a mountain. It was extremely terrifying. 4 Symbols Pagoda. It's actually such a treasure. Seeing this scene, the people of the general's residence exclaimed. Then they all cheered. This is a top-tier Earth-grade treasure. This kid is definitely dead. That's right, the 4 Symbols Pagoda was extremely powerful and difficult to refine. It was a top-tier Earth-grade treasure. Buzz. In the next moment, the peerless Almighty activated the 4 Symbols Pagoda, and 4 different types of power surged out. The power was too terrifying, and it was indestructible. It was going to destroy heaven and earth. It was too terrifying. No one below the peerless Almighty could block it. Lin Xian also felt the pressure, but he was fearless. So, what if it's a top-tier treasure? I have a heaven-grade treasure sword. Therefore, in the next moment, he took a step forward, and his eyes shone with a sharp light. An even more terrifying sword intent surged out from his body. Demon Seal. With a swing of his sword, a terrifying sword light tore through heaven and earth and collided with the 4 types of energy. Boom, boom. The void instantly exploded, and terrifying energy swept out in all directions. The surrounding ground and mountains quickly shattered, and the kings kept retreating. Below, the general's residence trembled, but at this moment, countless arrays appeared and enveloped the general's residence. This prevented the risk of being destroyed. Obviously, other than the outermost array that was destroyed by the Crimson Dragon, the other array formations in the depths of the general's residence still existed. Moreover, its power was extremely terrifying. It was able to block the violent energy. Boom. The terrifying four types of energy were split apart. The terrifying sword light slashed forward, almost hitting that peerless almighty being. Fortunately, the peerless almighty dodged quickly. However, he retreated to the side with a bewildered expression. His eyes were filled with shock. Damn it! How could this be? What kind of swordsmanship was he using? The peerless almighty was completely stunned. He, a dignified peerless almighty, had actually been reduced to such a sorry state by a brat. To be honest, he really couldn't accept it. Brat, you've successfully angered me, the powerful being shouted coldly. His eyes were filled with a cold light. I will let you know the true power of a powerful being. Boom. In the next moment, the four symbols pagoda above his head emitted a dazzling light before fusing into his body. Wung. The two merged into one, becoming one. A metallic luster appeared on that peerless almighty's body. His terrifying aura suddenly soared, and a powerful force surged out of his body. Brat, be careful. He actually fused with the treasure chi in his hand. At the side, the Crimson Dragon's expression was solemn as he quickly reminded. Lin Xian also frowned. He didn't expect this peerless almighty to be able to cultivate to such a level, and from the looks of it, the other party was really angry. However, so what? He was no longer the same person as before. Now that his strength had increased tremendously, he was no longer afraid of an early-stage 8-star almighty. Boom. Die, brat. That peerless almighty struck again. He waved his palm, and a terrifying energy surged, causing the void to explode instantly. That palm contained the terrifying energy of the four symbols pagoda. It transformed into a dragon that roared in the void. Lin Xian quickly brandished the ancient dragon abyss sword to contend with it. Streaks of sword chi swept across the sky like lightning and collided with the other party's fist. Boom, boom, boom. There was a burst of dazzling light, and the entire sky was filled with clanging sounds. Bang, 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 bang. The two of them exchanged blows, causing the sky to collapse and the earth to crack. However, after more than 10 exchanges, that powerful being screamed in agony. The reason for that was because his fist had directly split open. Several cracks had appeared on it. Even his bones were exposed, and blood instantly dyed the void red. Damn it! How was that possible? That powerful being's expression was extremely ugly. In the distance, those people from the general's residence were all stunned when they saw this scene. They couldn't even believe it. Damn brat, who exactly are you? That powerful being's eyes were like lightning as he stared at Lin Xian. He was too shocked. One had to know that he was a powerful being, and his body was extremely strong. Ordinary attacks couldn't break through his defense at all. Moreover, now that he had merged with the four symbols pagoda, his defense had greatly increased. Even a powerful being of the same level would find it difficult to injure him. However, after exchanging dozens of blows with the other party actually shattered his fist. That was just too unbelievable. He didn't know that the ancient Dragon Abyss sword in Lin Xian's hand was a heaven-grade treasure sword. Moreover, Lin Xian's great dragon sword soul had terrifying attack power. That kind of attack power was definitely beyond the imagination of a powerful being. Kid, do you know that this is General Xianying's residence? General Xianying is the younger brother of the current empress. He's the uncle of the current crown prince. If you offend such a person, you'll never have a foothold in the Tai dynasty. If you leave now, I can let bygones be bygones. Otherwise, what awaits you is a dead end. Why? You can't beat me. So now you want to use the name of the empress and the crown prince to suppress me? But it's a pity that these titles are of no use to me. Today, I'm here to take over General Xianying's residence. So, hurry up and kneel in the void to welcome me. Otherwise, if you anger me, don't blame me for starting a massacre. Blood stains the general's residence. After hearing Lin Xian's words, these people's minds went blank. What was going on? Was he really going to fight the general's residence to the end? Thinking of this, the powerful beings behind them couldn't hold back anymore. They said, "Elder, let's attack together and kill this kid. Although he's powerful, there's only two of us. I don't believe that he can fight against so many of us." "Yes, that's right. Kill him." The other powerful beings also shouted angrily. That was because they had been too aggrieved previously. They were scared out of their wits by a young man. If word of this got out, how could they live in the future? Therefore, they decided to get rid of the kid. Even if they couldn't defeat him alone, they would join forces and kill him together. Today is the 1st of June. It's finally my holiday. Everyone, please vote for me as a holiday gift. Chapter 22:18. They decided to get rid of that kid. Even if they couldn't defeat him alone, they would work together to kill him. Attack. The peerless, mighty figure's eyes flickered. He did not refuse. The kid in front of him was too strange. Next to him was a snake. He did not know how strong it was. He had to get rid of the other party quickly. Otherwise, the longer it dragged on, the more the general's residence would lose face. Go to hell, kid. Behind him, the mighty figures were also shocked when they heard that. They were no match for the other party in a one-on-one battle. But now, with a group of people attacking together, they would definitely kill the other party. Boom. Among them, 3 top mighty figures joined forces and attacked Lin Xian. 5 elite mighty figures joined forces and attacked the Crimson Dragon. The void was instantly shattered, and terrifying energy surged out. What? You want a team battle? Do you think Ben Huang is afraid of you? The Crimson Dragon roared. He had already recovered to the realm of a mighty figure and could use the dragon race's divine powers. Why would he be afraid of these elite mighty figures? In the next moment, his body suddenly expanded and transformed into a divine dragon that was 1,000 feet long. Then his dragon tail rolled forward like a river and blasted in front of him. Boom! Those elite mighty figures vomited blood and were sent flying. Their faces were filled with shock. Damn it! A dragon! He's a dragon! Those elite mighty figures were filled with fear. They originally thought that the other party was a snake or a loach, but now it seemed that they were completely wrong. However, some people shook their heads. Impossible! How could there be a real dragon? At most, he has the bloodline of the dragon race. Perhaps he's a flood dragon. Legend had it that a real flood dragon was full of treasures. Capture him, pull out his tendons, drink his blood, eat his flesh. That will help us break through. Those elite mighty figures stared at the Crimson Dragon with bloodshot eyes, as if they had heard a treasure. They thought that it was a flood dragon. If they knew that the Crimson Dragon was a real dragon, they would probably go crazy. What? How dare you have designs on me? You're courting death. The Crimson Dragon was also furious. These guys want to eat my flesh and drink my blood? How reckless! The next moment he sneered. Let Ben Huang send you on your way first. Soon, the Crimson Dragon spat out dragon flames and brandished its claws to attack. On the other side, the 3 Pinnacle Almighties were also charging towards Lin Xian. When the 3 of them joined forces, their power was terrifying. Moreover, there was a peerless Almighty at the side who was eyeing them covetously. He was ready to strike at any moment. It could be said that Lin Xian's current situation was even more dangerous than the Crimson Dragon's. Lin Xian did not dare to be careless. He immediately summoned the Dragon Sword Domain to cover the surroundings. Terrifying sword chi crisscrossed, forming a screen of light that protected him. At the same time, His body swayed, and he instantly dodged the attacks of the three top almighties. The three peak powerhouses missed their target, but they didn't give up. Instead, they sneered. "Kid, you can't escape. Today is the day you die." As they spoke, they attacked even more ferociously. In the sky, one afterimage after another was torn apart as terrifying energy blasted out in all directions. However, at this moment, Lin Xian's Dragon Sword domain was also activated. Terrifying sword qi appeared in the sky, transforming into the phantoms of heavenly rocks, Qilins, true dragons, phoenixes, and other divine beasts. That terrifying power made the hearts of these top almighties tremble. As a result, these top almighties had no choice but to activate their king domains to resist. Damn it, how could this kid be so powerful? Seeing this scene, the three top almighties had the urge to curse. At this moment, the peerless almighty also made his move. Originally, he was disdainful of being surrounded. After all, he had a noble status, but now, seeing that the three top almighties couldn't even take down the other party, he was furious. The peerless almighty's face was gloomy. In the next moment, he decisively made his move. The peerless almighty's attack greatly increased the pressure on Lin Xian. For a moment, he was surrounded by danger and was almost hit by a palm strike. Fortunately, he was fast enough and was only grazed by the palm wind. Even so, he was still forced to retreat, the blood in his body churning. "Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish." At this point, Lin Xian's great dragon sword soul began to circulate wildly. At the same time, a terrifying energy erupted in his body. Demon Seal, Battle Song. Lin Xian suddenly unleashed two powerful attacks towards the peerless almighty. Boom! The peerless almighty was sent flying. At the same time, he charged towards the three top almighties. Boom! 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 The dragon sword domain completely erupted, and countless sword qi descended, forcing the three top almighties to separate. At this moment, Lin Xian waved his hand, and countless sea gods' ice erupted, forming a terrifying world of ice that enveloped two of the top almighties. Only the last one was left. Go to hell! The great dragon sword soul in Lin Xian's body erupted, and the dragon source ancient sword mercilessly slashed down. This attack was incomparably terrifying. Even the top almighties would feel their scalps go numb if they saw it, let alone the top almighties. Therefore, this pinnacle mighty figure screamed as he was split in half. The armor on his body was also split open by the sword. Boom! Boom! On the other side, the two top almighties broke through the ice wall and charged out. But soon, they were stunned. Because their companion had been killed by the other party, instantly, they were so scared that their scalps went numb. Buzz. However, at this moment, a golden light suddenly pierced into their souls, and they seemed to have lost control of their souls and fell into a momentary daze. Poof! When they recovered, two heads had already flown into the air. Damn it! How could this be? The almighties who were watching the battle from afar were all scared out of their wits when they saw this scene. Three top almighties were killed just like that. This kid was too terrifying. Not only was he powerful, but he also had rich combat experience. It could be said that he was far beyond their imagination. Perhaps no one below the top almighties was a match for this kid. They were terrified and did not dare to attack him again. However, at this moment, the top almighty charged over again. Previously, he was sent flying by the two-sword qi and was injured. However, he was still a top almighty after all. Although the two-sword qi had injured him, it was not fatal. Therefore, he charged over again. The battle erupted again. On the other side, the Crimson Dragon had also killed 5 elite almighties. However, at this moment, another top almighty charged up from below. When he fought with the Crimson Dragon, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. Although the Crimson Dragon had just entered the almighty realm like Lin Xian, he was a dragon and had the dragon race's great divine power. Therefore, he was on par with the top almighties for a while. Buzz. At this moment, the top almighty who was fighting with Lin Xian, the Four Symbols King, roared angrily. His body emitted an extremely terrifying light, accompanied by countless lightning bolts that descended around him. For Symbol's divine thunder, terrifying lightning flashed in the air and blasted towards Lin Xian. Chapter 22:19. This lightning was too terrifying. Not only did it contain the power of a peerless almighty, but it also contained the power of the Four Symbols Pagoda. The two combined into one, forming a monstrous attack. Lin Xian naturally felt threatened. He instantly activated the ice shield, and the terrifying ice goddess statue formed. Its huge wings enveloped him. At the same time, the dragon sword domain quickly shrunk, completely enveloping him. Countless sword chi surrounded him, forming a sword Dao world. Boom, boom, boom. The lightning that filled the sky blasted onto the ice goddess statue, producing a violent sound. Then, the ice goddess statue was pierced through. Boom, boom. The terrifying icy aura caused the lightning energy to dim. In fact, many of them were even frozen. However, the Four Symbols divine lightning still passed through the icy aura and attacked Lin Xian again. Clang! The sword chi around Lin Xian was extremely sharp. It destroyed all the lightning, and none of it could get close to him. Seeing this scene, the kings of the general's residence were all stunned. Their scalps went numb. Although they knew that the other party was very powerful, they did not expect him to be so powerful. It was far beyond their imagination. The other party was only a young man in his 20s, but he actually had the battle strength of a peerless almighty. It was too shocking. Kill. Hurry up and kill. Form a formation, cooperate with the killing formation, and attack. Kill him for me, the peerless almighty in front roared. Kill. Soon, the almighty kings from the general's mansion rushed over. Some of them joined forces, some formed a formation, and some directly controlled the killing formation to attack Lin Xian. Boom, boom, boom. A terrifying energy burst out, but the result left them extremely shocked. This was because the young man in front of them was ridiculously powerful. It was completely beyond their imagination. A casual sword chi from the other party was like the Milky Way, crushing the surroundings and shattering all of their attacks. How was he human? He was simply like a sword god that had descended into the mortal world. Poof! An elite almighty wielded a long saber and attacked with the help of a formation. However, he was directly cut in half by the other party's sword chi. Blood splattered, dyeing the void red. Damn it, he was too powerful. The others were pale and trembling. Boom! Another earth-shattering sound rang out. 4 elite powerhouses had joined forces to form a killing formation. They descended from the sky, wanting to envelop him. This killing formation was incomparably terrifying. It carried with it a shocking killing aura that pierced through the void. However, it was still useless. After being slashed apart by the other party's sword, it turned into spiritual energy that filled the air and scattered in all directions. As for the 4 elite almighties, they spat out blood and flew backwards. Damn it, impossible! Who are you? Who are you? These people were all crazy, screaming nonstop. They simply couldn't believe that a young man could be so powerful. Who am I? Who do you think I am? Lin Xian sneered. Meanwhile, the more these people looked, the more shocked they became. Damn it, could it be someone from the War Clan? After thinking about it, they realized that only the legendary war race could produce such a young genius. Other than that, It was impossible for anyone else to do so. However, why did the battle race want to take action against their general manor? This shouldn't be the case. Thus, he shouldn't be someone from the war clan. However, if it wasn't the war race, then who could it be? Which young man could be so heaven-defying? They really couldn't figure it out. However, Lin Xian sneered. Why, don't you recognize me? Your general manor sent so many almighties to hunt me down, and now you don't recognize me? What? Hunt you down? These almighties were stunned, and then their expressions changed drastically. Damn it, could it be you? They were extremely shocked because they thought of a person, a young demon king, a person who was wanted by the Tai dynasty, a person who killed the Golden Lion King. Thinking of this, they came to a realization. Perhaps only such a demon king would have such terrifying strength. The other party could even kill a peerless genius of the war clan. One could imagine how terrifying he was. However, wasn't this kid being hunted down? Why would he appear here? And he wanted to cause trouble in their general manor? Could it be that this kid wanted to take revenge? It seems that you have recognized who I am. Since you know who I am, then you should know what will happen to you. Obediently kneel on the ground and surrender. Otherwise, don't blame me for massacring the general manor. What? You really suppressed the general manor. Hearing this, these people felt as if they had fallen into an ice cave, and their bodies began to tremble. They did not expect the other party to be so arrogant. That was the general manor. General Xian Ying's manor was not inferior to the king's manor. However, now a young man had come knocking on their door and threatened to suppress them. If news of this spread, how would the general manor survive in the future? However, the other party was too powerful. Even a peerless almighty could not kill him. He was definitely a murderous fiend. Therefore, they really could not do anything to him for the time being. Could it be that the general manor was really going to be suppressed? Damn it! Impossible! Kill him for me! Someone roared angrily, and his body emitted a terrifying light. King domains soared into the sky and enveloped the surroundings. At that moment, more than 10 king domains flickered in the sky, and the sky was filled with light, completely sealing off the entire space. Use your king domains. Use your cultivation base to suppress him. Although his combat strength was powerful, his cultivation base was not high. The king domains crazily attacked Lin Xian. In fact, the peerless almighty also activated a king domain and flew over quickly. Lin Xian sneered. His body flickered, and he was the first to dodge the almighty's domain. However, he did not bother to dodge the other king domains. Buzz! The dragon source ancient sword was swung, and the void was cut in half. Then, the king domain of an almighty was directly split apart. Not only that, the light that filled the sky disappeared, and at the same time, a scream was heard. That elite almighty was also slashed into a bloody mist by the sword. Seeing this scene, everyone's scalps went numb. Some of the ordinary almighties even began to flee into the distance. The other party was too terrifying. Killing almighties was like mowing grass. How would they dare to stay here? However, in the next moment, they screamed. This was because they realized that they could only escape a few thousand miles away. They could not go any further. An incomparably terrifying and mysterious array completely enveloped the entire general manor. It cut off all their escape routes. What? The general manor was completely sealed off. Damn it! Seeing this scene, the Almighty's faces were extremely gloomy. They did not expect the other party to be so decisive and completely seal off the entire general manor. When did the other party make a move? How could there be such an exquisite array formation? They did not dare to imagine. On the other side, the Crimson Dragon sneered. You want to escape? How is that possible? You can't break Ben Huang's array formation. Chapter 22:20. Seeing this, even the faces of the two Almighties turned gloomy. Ruzalong, do it! Activate the killing formation and kill them all for me, Lin Xian said coldly. At the same time, his dragon sword realm also surged out and collided with the other realms in the sky. Instantly, cracking sounds could be heard. Countless king realms were instantly shattered. The dragon sword realm was too powerful. Countless dragon-shaped sword chi surged out from within. It contained the power of the dragon sword soul and had the power to split the heavens and earth. The king realms of these almighties could not withstand it at all. Lin Xian charged forward like a god of death and chased after these almighties. Damn it! Stop it! At the sight of this, the four symbols kings let out a furious roar. He quickly chased after Lin Xian, but Lin Xian's speed was so fast that he couldn't catch up for a while. This made him mad. He could only watch as his subordinates were killed one by one in the void. On the other side, the Crimson Dragon also made its move. It opened its mouth and spat out killing formations one after another. These killing formations were all prepared by it. Now that it used them, they were extremely terrifying. The other supreme being, the demonic crystal guru, roared out furiously as well as he launched an attack. He wanted to destroy these killing formations. However, as soon as these killing formations appeared, they covered all directions. Even though he destroyed some of them, more of them surrounded the remaining almighties. Ah, 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 ah. Screams of agony rang out one after another. It was extremely miserable. Soon, countless people were pierced by these killing formations. Blood flowed freely. Above the general's residence, a rain of blood fell. It was unusually bloody and had a pungent smell. Boom. The commotion here finally alarmed the general's residence below. Countless martial artists rushed over, but the weaker ones were directly killed by the energy in the sky. However, this was the mysterious Yin general's residence after all. Its status was comparable to a king's residence. There were still many experts here. At this moment, a large group of people rushed over from the depths of the general's residence. They were murderous like gods of war. Boom, boom, boom. As soon as they appeared, these people attacked and shattered all the killing formations in the surroundings. The energy that filled the sky was torn apart, and the terrifying light disappeared. The sky regained its clarity. However, when they saw the scene in the sky, their expressions all changed. Their faces were terrifyingly gloomy. Those king realm almighties from before were all killed, their corpses turning into blood mist. Apart from Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon, there were only two almighties left in the general's mansion. Damn it, who are you, kid? How dare he be so cruel? The warriors who came later roared crazily. Up ahead, Master Magic Crystal said coldly, "He is the one we are looking for. Capture him. Then we will have made a great contribution." What? It was actually that brat. He actually dared to come here. When those people heard this, they were also extremely shocked. They couldn't believe it. However, in the next moment, their eyes shone with a terrifying light. That was great. They had long known that capturing this brat would bring them great benefits. Therefore, at this moment, they were all extremely excited. However, at this moment, Master Magic Crystal said coldly again, "Don't act rashly. He is not simple. Otherwise, we wouldn't have lost so many people. Don't worry, Elder. We won't be careless." Formation. Behind him, a middle-aged man and woman walked out. One of them was wearing a white robe, while the other was wearing a green robe. Both of their auras were extremely powerful. They were top almighties. Among them, the man held the thunder hammer, while the woman held the Gale's sword. Their king domains instantly rushed out and enveloped the entire sky. Wind and thunder formation. The terrifying power of wind and thunder flew out in an instant, whistling as it shot towards Lin Xian. Clouds and rain. However, the crimson dragon sneered. Countless white mists surged out of his body and slowly rose into the sky. Immediately, the power of wind and thunder that filled the sky was completely absorbed. What was going on? Those clouds could absorb the power of wind and thunder? How was that possible? The other party's top almighties were stunned. They couldn't believe it. The others were also extremely shocked. When they saw the true body of the Crimson Dragon, they all exclaimed, Flood Dragon! Flood Dragon my ass! Go and die for Ben Huang! The Crimson Dragon sneered and waved his dragon claws. The absorbed lightning was released again. Boom, boom. Terrifying power pierced through the void and surged forward. Boom, boom, boom. The two top almighties were sent flying. They spat out large mouthfuls of blood, and their faces were filled with shock. Attack together. Don't hesitate anymore. The four symbols' kings also roared angrily. Beside them, Venerable Magic Crystal's body was filled with killing intent. Their expressions were extremely unsightly. Both of them were peerless almighties. Their cultivation was at the early 8-star almighties, and their strength was extremely terrifying. Even top almighties couldn't withstand a single blow from them. But now, the two of them couldn't do anything to each other. This man and dragon were simply too terrifying. However, no matter how terrifying they had to kill each other if they wanted to attack. On the other side, Lin Xian also snorted coldly. In the dragon sword domain, a dragon-shaped sword shadow appeared. It caused the power of the dragon sword domain to skyrocket again. Streaks of sword chi soared into the sky, each of them able to pierce through the Almighty. Not only that, but Lin Xian was also going all out now. Hellfire, sea god ice. Terrifying energy surged out and swept in all directions. Not only that, the demon-slaying sword array was formed under his feet. One after another, primordial shadows filled the sky. Terrifying power roared. On the other side, the Crimson Dragon was even more powerful. He repeatedly used the dragon race's mystique, causing Venerable Magic Crystal to continuously retreat. He was in an extremely sorry state. Poof, poof. In an instant, 5 almighties were killed by Lin Xian. Their corpses fell to the ground. As for the others, they were all extremely terrified. They originally wanted to capture the other party and obtain battle merits. But now, it seemed impossible. The other party was like a demon king, causing them to feel despair. Blade Group, send them over. The 4 symbols' kings roared. Boom. Pirates must die. Below, a torrent rushed out, and 6 black-robed men appeared. The 6 of them had a biting cold aura. Their eyes emitted a cold light, and there was no emotion on their faces. They carried long sabers on their backs and looked like killing gods. Clang! The 6 black-robed men pulled out their long sabers. Saber light instantly erupted. The 6 of them merged into one and instantly charged forward. Every member of the Blade Group was an extremely terrifying saber monarch. At this moment, the 6 of them even used the 6 directions saber technique. When the 6 of them merged into one, their strength was countless times stronger than before. Buzz! The ancient dragon abyss sword in Lin Xian's hand instantly expanded, turning into a giant sword that was 100 feet long and slashed down crazily. Clang! Clang! The 6 sabers in their hands collided with the ancient dragon abyss sword and broke. Poof! The 6 black-robed swordsmen also vomited blood and were sent flying. Their expressions finally changed. Their faces were filled with fear and shock. What kind of weapon was that? It could break the 6-sided saber in an instant. Chapter 22-21. One had to know that each of them had an upper-grade Earth-class artifact in their hands. However, at this moment, they were like pieces of paper, shattered. However, this was not the end. The ancient dragon abyss sword roared, as if it had turned into a giant dragon. It transformed into 6 dragon-shaped sword chi and instantly split the bodies of the 6 men. Puff, puff, puff. The bodies of the 6 men in black fell to the ground, causing dust to rise. Blood dyed the ground red. The people around him went crazy. These 6 men were extremely terrifying Saber Kings. They were powerful. This was the killing move of the Wong residents. However, it was easily broken by someone else. In front of that giant sword, any artifact or saber technique was useless. It was a direct suppression. Nothing could stop it. Damn brat. The general's residence will not let you off. An elite powerhouse roared crazily when he saw this scene. Hearing this, Lin Xian snorted and flicked his finger. Buzz. A sword wave flew out. Puff. The elite powerhouse's eyebrows splattered as he fell into a pool of blood. At this moment, Lin Xian strode forward. It seemed like he wanted to enter the general's residence. Damn it, stop him quickly. Angry roars could be heard. The 4 symbols kings even reached out a huge palm that covered the sky, trying to imprison Lin Xian in the void. Boom. Whoosh. However, Lin Xian's speed was too fast. He only left behind an afterimage, as his real body had already entered the general's residence. Boom. Sword chi flew out from Lin Xian's body and slashed forward. Boom. 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 The surrounding buildings, pavilions, and halls of the general's residence were split into pieces. Huge rocks rolled, and the terrifying ground cracked open. The terrifying sound startled everyone. The surrounding martial artists were all dumbfounded. Was this guy really trying to tear down the general's residence? Damn it, he really deserved to die. Kill. Kill him for me. More experts rushed out of the general's residence. When they saw this scene, they roared crazily. In the surroundings, countless formations lit up. Some were defensive, some were offensive. The runes in the sky flickered with terrifying power. However, none of this could stop Lin Xian's sword light. All of a sudden, everything that got close to him was split apart. Not only that, a sword wave spread out in all directions with him as the center. Wherever it passed, the void was mercilessly split open. Wang. Lin Xian formed a seal with his hands. Immediately, countless clouds above the general's residence began to tumble, forming a virtual sky, eye that looked down. The terrifying eyes were very illusory, but when he appeared, it still caused the people of the general's residence to be alarmed. At this moment, everyone looked up at the sky. Heavens, what is this thing? The Eye of Heaven? Damn it, what kind of divine ability is this kid using? Everyone was going crazy. Lin Xian, on the other hand, was forming a seal with both hands. Soon, a smile appeared on his face. This illusory eye was the illusion of the heavenly secrets Abhijna, and it was imprinted in the void by him. His purpose was naturally to find the super teleportation array. As expected, Lin Xian soon found it. In the sky, the illusory eye disappeared, and Lin Xian's figure charged forward like a bolt of lightning. Ruzalong, over here! Lin Xian called out as he flew. The crimson dragon swung its tail, sending more than a dozen people flying. At the same time, its dragon claws tore through the void and quickly followed. Damn it! Stop them! We have to stop them! The experts of the general's residence roared crazily. They did not know what these 2 fellows were trying to do. However, they knew that they could not let these 2 fellows enter the depths of the general's residence. Boom, boom, boom. Tens of thousands of lightning bolts descended from the sky, and the terrifying energy shattered the void. On the other side, a sea of fire surged into the sky. Behind them, hundreds of saber lights slashed down mercilessly like the Milky Way. However, Lin Xian only swung his sword once, and all the terrifying energy in the world was destroyed. Countless large cracks appeared in the void and spread into the distance. A few martial artists were even swallowed up by the cracks. How terrifying! The martial artists of the general's residence were terrified. However, this time, they did not escape. They still wanted to stop them. The godly spear team, more than a dozen figures, soared into the sky. They were tall and held red spears in their hands. Their auras were like demonic beasts that rushed into the sky. The spears in their hands were like dragons that pierced through the void. In an instant, the resplendent spear lights that filled the sky enveloped Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon. The Crimson Dragon swung its tail and sent all the spear lights on his side flying. On the other side, Lin Xian formed hand seals and used the great dragon sword soul to simulate the war tribe's seal of fearless lion. A golden lion flew out from Lin Xian's fingertips and roared in all directions. The terrifying sound waves turned into golden waves that surged in all directions. Boom! Pirates must die. The spear lights that filled the sky turned into countless fragments and dissipated. Puff, puff, puff. More than a dozen divine generals spat out large mouthfuls of blood. Countless cracks appeared on their bodies. Many of them directly collapsed and turned into a bloody mist. Damn brat, you're too arrogant. Behind them, the Four Symbols King roared angrily. His body suddenly exploded with light, and his speed instantly increased. He must have used some kind of secret technique to catch up to Lin Xian. Soon, he blocked the path. On the other side, the demonic Crystal Venerable also appeared in front of the Crimson Dragon. These two peerless almighties were really angry now. The Four Symbols King unleashed the Four Symbols Pagoda. It floated in the palace and emitted a shocking killing intent. On the other side, the demonic Crystal Venerable took out a black bottle. The black bottle was engraved with runes and had an extremely cold aura. In the next moment, the demonic Crystal Venerable opened the bottle and injected power. Buzz! The bottle emitted light, and a black poisonous scorpion crawled out of the bottle. The scorpion was extremely black and crystal clear like black jade. It was only the size of a palm. As soon as it appeared, its eyes lit up with a scarlet light. The tail on its back was raised high, and its body emitted an extremely terrifying aura. This aura sent chills down the spines of everyone around. Although it was only the size of a palm, it was an extremely terrifying scorpion. It could even threaten the peerless almighties. Go, kill him! The demonic Crystal Venerable waved his finger, and the black scorpion flew out. It quickly charged towards the Crimson Dragon. On the other side, the Four Symbols King activated the Four Symbols Pagoda. Buzz! The pagoda rapidly expanded. It was 100,000 feet tall, and it was like an ancient demon mountain. It pressed down on Lin Xian. Lin Xian snorted. The ancient dragon abyss sword in his hand suddenly expanded into 100 feet long giant sword. He held it and slashed it towards the sky. Crack! This sword was extremely powerful. It was like a divine light with a monstrous killing intent that directly split the void. Then it collided with the terrifying Four Symbols Pagoda. Boom, boom, boom. Huge energy exploded, and thunderous sounds could be heard. Chapter 22:22. Boom, boom, boom. There was a huge explosion of energy, and thunderous sounds could be heard. The two collided, and a blast of air swept out in all directions. Although the general's residence was protected by a defensive array formation, the buildings collapsed. It couldn't be helped. This was the attack of a peerless almighty, and it was too terrifying. However, in the next moment, the people in the general's residence screamed. They were all terrified. Even the four symbols king's face darkened. That was because he realized that his four symbols pagoda had been sent flying, and it crashed into the void, creating a terrifying black hole. Damn it! How can he be so powerful? The four symbols king's face darkened. He realized that he couldn't suppress the other party. Lin Xian was also surprised. The four symbols pagoda was definitely a top-notch treasure. His Dragon Abyss Valley ancient sword had only sent it flying, and there were no cracks on it at all. This was something that had never happened before, as expected of a peerless Almighty's treasure. It was indeed much more powerful than ordinary top-notch Almighties. Humph! Lin Xian sneered. Since you're courting death by blocking my path, I'll fulfill your wish. I'll let you have a taste of my ultimate move. Lin Xian's eyes lit up. He was about to use his ultimate move, but at that moment his heart thumped wildly, and a sense of danger rose from the bottom of his heart. Whoosh! In the next moment, he immediately left his original spot without hesitation and dodged to the side. Buzz! Boom! Just as he was about to move, a black bolt of lightning instantly pierced through the void. He was in. The armor on his body was also grazed by the black lightning, and countless cracks immediately appeared. Fortunately, he had more than one defense, although his armor was shattered. The sword chi on the surface of his body blocked the black energy. Even so, Lin Xian was still frightened. That was because it was too dangerous. If he was any slower, he would have been hit by the black flash, and he would definitely be seriously injured. It might even pierce through his body. Damn it! What exactly is that? Lin Xian was bewildered and looked at the place where he was originally standing. In the next moment, he was stunned. It was because he discovered that it was a black scorpion. It was the size of a palm and looked like black jade. Wasn't this the scorpion released by that peerless Almighty earlier? Damn it! I thought he would attack the Crimson Dragon, but I didn't expect him to be his target. Thinking of this, Lin Xian's face darkened. The Crimson Dragon was also shocked. Then he cursed, "Damn, that's too shameless. 2 against 1. He did not expect these two peerless Almighties to join forces to kill Lin Xian. On the other side, the faces of the two peerless, mighty figures were dark. Previously, when they had made their move, they had secretly communicated with one another and decided that the two of them would work together to kill one of them first. This way, the pressure on them would be greatly reduced. Therefore, they set their sights on Lin Xian. However, he did not expect Lin Xian's reaction to be so sharp and quick. In the blink of an eye, he dodged the sure-kill attack. Damn it, let's attack together. Kill him. The venerable magic crystal roared angrily and formed a seal with his palms. The black scorpion once again turned into a bolt of lightning and charged over. On the other side, the Four Symbols Kings activated the Four Symbols Pagoda and launched 4 terrifying attacks. Humph! Lin Xian snorted coldly. He was really angry. He held the ancient Dragon Abyss sword and quickly attacked. Buzz! With a slash of his sword, the terrifying chaotic sword chi slashed forward like the Milky Way and blocked the attack of the Four Symbols Pagoda. That was not the end. Lin Xian quickly waved his arm. 8 streaks of sword chi flew over quickly one after another. The sword light was like a stormy sea, bringing with it endless air waves that tore the void apart. Clang! Boom! 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 One sword fell, and another rose. The sword chi was even more powerful than the previous one, and appeared one after another like a wave. Damn it! On the other side, the Four Symbols King's face darkened, and they were extremely shocked. That was because he had suffered a great impact. His opponent's sword light was continuous. After the first sword strike, the second one soon fell. Moreover, the power of the second sword strike was even more violent than the previous one. In this way, he could not block the 9th sword strike at all. Not only him, but magic Crystal Venerable's face also darkened. That was because his opponent had launched 9 streaks of sword chi in a row. They were like a wave that suppressed the entire space. His black scorpion was also under great threat and could not break through, let alone kill his opponent. Humph! 2 shameless old men. You want to fight me together? Impossible. Ben Wong will kill you. The crimson dragon also flew over. It raised its huge head and roared. Roar, roar, roar. The terrifying dragon roar was earth-shattering. It shook the surrounding warriors and made their blood boil. Their faces were extremely pale. In the sky, the black scorpion also stopped moving. It no longer flew quickly and even began to tremble. It looked as if it was kneeling before a king. Damn it. How was that possible? Magic Crystal Venerable's face changed drastically when he saw that. The black scorpion was called the Ink Jade Scorpion. It was an extremely terrifying ancient mutated species that was extremely fast. Moreover, it was highly poisonous. Even a peerless almighty would die from the poison if they were hit. It could be said that it was extremely terrifying. It was an ancient mutated species that had the power of a bloodline. Even a peerless almighty would not be able to make it tremble. However, his opponent's roar made his scorpion tremble. It could not help but kneel down. This was simply too shocking and unbelievable. Boom. Pirates will die. It made his opponent reveal its true form and make it tremble. At that moment, the crimson dragon laughed. He slapped the scorpion away with his claw. Countless cracks had appeared on his black body, and black blood was even flowing out from them. As soon as it landed, it corroded the entire ground. All the trees and plants in the surroundings withered. Damn it, run. It's highly poisonous. The surrounding martial artists fled frantically. A few of them who were too slow were covered by the black aura. Their bodies quickly decayed, and in the end, not even their bones were left. They turned into a pool of black blood. Seeing that, everyone was terrified and did not dare to approach. Damn it! Magic Crystal Venerable roared when he saw that the Ink Jade Scorpion was injured. He waved his arm. He made use of the black liquid that dripped down. It turned into black, poisonous needles and flew towards Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon. Wherever it passed, the void would be pierced and black holes would appear one after another. From this, one could imagine how potent the toxicity of the black blood was. Whoosh! The Crimson Dragon opened its mouth and spat out balls of dragon flame. He was a dragon. So what if his opponent was strong? Could it be that his bloodline was more powerful than his? He did not believe it. The dragon flame was indeed the nemesis of the black poison. It instantly burned the black blood. Damn it! How is that possible? Magic Crystal Venerable was shocked when he saw that. He could not believe it. Chapter 22-23. He realized that this dark red flood dragon was simply too strange. His opponent was ridiculously powerful. Could it be an ancient mutant too? He could not understand. However, he soon exclaimed again. Not only did the Crimson Dragon destroy the black blood, but Lin Xian's sword chi also destroyed the black blood. Damn it! How did he do it? The venerable magic crystal was going crazy. He could accept it if the Crimson Dragon could do it. He felt that Lin Xian had an extraordinary background and was very likely to be an ancient mutant beast. However, how did the young man in front of him do it? Lin Xian was only a human. How could he have such a powerful sword chi? He could not believe it. However, he didn't have time to think too much at this moment because Lin Xian's ultimate move was coming at him again. The ancient dragon abyss sword in Lin Xian's hand suddenly emitted a sharp light, as if a peerless beast had awakened. The sharpness of the sword instantly increased. Damn it! There was something wrong with the sword, the venerable magic crystal, and the 4 symbols kings immediately changed their expressions. They felt a chill down their spines, and a deathly threat. They did not know what the sword in Lin Xian's hand was. However, their instincts told them not to take it head-on. Buzz. 9 runes appeared on the ancient dragon abyss sword in Lin Xian's hand, and one of them quickly disappeared. The aura on the sword also reached its peak. Oh no, dodge. The 2 supreme beings' expressions changed when they felt the aura on the sword suddenly increase. That was because they felt a deathly threat. That feeling was too creepy. They had not felt it for hundreds of years. Who would have thought that he would actually be able to sense it from a junior? Buzz. The ancient dragon abyss sword slashed down, shattering the void. The 4 symbols king screamed. The 4 symbols pagoda beside him was instantly blasted away, and a crack appeared on it. Not only that, but he was even more miserable. The armor on his body was dented, and more than half of his bones were broken. He crashed into more than 10 palaces. What? A supreme being was sent flying. How was that possible? Those people went crazy. They could not believe it. However, at this moment, the magic crystal guru roared and turned to flee. However, how could Lin Xian let him escape? He held the dragon abyss in his hand and swept it out. A terrifying crescent-shaped sword chi flew out. Damn it, block for me. Magic crystal guru roared and released his king's domain in front of him. His king's domain was a field of violet gold crystals, and each of them was like a demonic pillar that spun in the sky, giving off a terrifying aura. Unfortunately, this time, it was unable to block Lin Xian's sword chi. This was because Lin Xian had unlocked the first seal on the ancient dragon abyss sword. That power was absolutely terrifying. Thus, in the blink of an eye, the demonic crystal guru's king's domain cracked. As for the magic crystal guru, he spat out mouthfuls of blood and cut a sorry figure. Boom. In the next moment, he also flew out and crashed into a dozen pavilions. Boom, boom. The earth trembled, countless rocks flew, and dust filled the air. The terrifying sound caused everyone to fall into a daze. This was because they did not dare to imagine that 2 peerless almighties would be sent flying by 2 swords. What kind of technique was that? How could that be? Who was that person? That was too terrifying. At the side, dark red Shinhong sneered. The general's residence was just SOO. Today, I'll wash your general's residence with blood. I'll let you know the consequences of offending us. As he spoke, he also swung his dragon tail. The huge tail was like a river that swept in all directions. Wherever it passed, the earth split open, and the arrays in the sky were all shattered. Nothing could withstand it. Buzz, who was it? How dare you cause trouble in my general's residence? In the sky, there was an angry roar. Following that, dozens of figures appeared. This time, after the dozens of figures appeared, hundreds of figures flashed quickly in the general's residence below. More and more experts moved out, and the first person to roar was a middle-aged man. He had a pale face and no beard, and his eyes were cold with a biting cold, killing intent. The aura on his body was monstrous and pierced through the void. If one looked carefully, one would realize that his appearance was very similar to General Xian Ying's. That was because he was General Xian Ying's younger brother. Xian Feng. After Xian Feng came out, he looked around with a gloomy face. Soon, he fixed his eyes on Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon. Attack. Kill them for me. I want to use their souls and flesh as a sacrifice to my dead clansmen. Kid, go to hell. Beside him, the void split open, and a middle-aged man in a white robe walked out. He held a 5-colored feather fan in his hand, and it emitted a terrifying power. Buzz. As the feather fan waved, a strong wind blew between the heavens and the earth. Sand and stones flew, and the mountains and palaces were all blown away. The terrifying power of the wind surged in the air, and the strong wind turned into wind blades that slashed towards Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon. This scene was too terrifying. It was as if the world was about to be destroyed. "Get lost!" Lin Xian roared. He waved his ancient sword, and the terrifying sword Qi tore all the wind blades apart. On the other hand, his dark red divine dragon was moving forward rapidly. "Kid, you block them first, Whitey, and I will go and collect some things," the Crimson Dragon said. He then waved his hand and grabbed the little white monkey from the black earth vessel. Whitey yawned and was very dissatisfied. However, after hearing the Crimson Dragon's plan, its big gem-like eyes flashed with a sneaky light. Roar! The Crimson Dragon roared and flew down. The little white monkey rode on its back and cheered. "Damn it, stop him for me!" the middle-aged man, Xianfeng, roared. Suddenly, hundreds of martial artists rushed out of the cave, trying to stop him. Some of them joined hands, and some of them formed arrays. In short, they would not let the Crimson Dragon pass. Unfortunately, the Crimson Dragon roared and tore the void apart. At the same time, he spewed out dragon flames that spread in all directions. The terrifying flame aura made the hundreds of martial artists scream. Whitey was also constantly swaying its body. It was like a bolt of white lightning. Anyone who got close to it would be knocked unconscious with a single slap. Damn it! When the man in white saw this, he quickly waved his feather fan and wanted to attack the Crimson Dragon. However, he was blocked by Lin Xian's sword radiance. "Humph!" Lin Xian snorted. "Your opponent is me." He naturally would not let these people touch the Crimson Dragon. He knew that the Crimson Dragon and Whitey were probably going to rob the general's residence. How could he let others destroy such a good thing? "Damn it! Half of you go and kill those two demonic beasts. The rest of you, kill this kid here." Xianfeng stood in the void and roared crazily. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. More than 10 figures blocked Lin Xian. The man in white quickly waved his wind blades. On the other side, a woman in blue was holding a blue bell and shaking it gently. Chapter 22-24. Crack, crack, crack. Dark clouds rolled in the sky, and heavy rain poured down. A hole seemed to have been torn in the sky. Lightning fell from the sky, mixed with rain. It was abnormally terrifying. The power of lightning was all directed at Lin Xian. On the left, there was a burly man in yellow. He was 3 meters tall, and his muscles bulged like a dragon. His hands kept dancing in the air, and suddenly, yellow mountains appeared in the sky. They were like Mount Tai, tens of thousands of feet tall. They quickly fell and instantly exploded the void, wanting to completely suppress Lin Xian. The person on the right was even more strange. It was a black-robed man with a red ghost mask on his face and a white soul-summoning banner in his hand. He waved it gently, and thousands of vengeful spirits roared, emitting a cold aura, wanting to tear Lin Xian apart. "You want to compete with me? Go to hell!" Lin Xian shouted coldly and roared at the sky. His black hair danced wildly. He was like a god of death. The ancient dragon abyss sword in his hand kept slashing out, and the dragon sword domain on his body quickly cooperated. Boom! With a swing of the sword Qi intertwined and turned into a black tortoise. It burned fiercely and instantly knocked away the 10,000 feet tall mountain. Not only that, the black tortoise slapped down. Terrifying black flames pierced through the void and directly smashed the burly man in yellow into ashes. Buzz! The sword moved horizontally, forming an icy wind in the sky. It spread in all directions, and the terrifying power of ice froze the storm that filled the sky. With another swing of the sword, the terrifying sword light formed a dragon phoenix fire furnace. Black flames spread and burned all the vengeful spirits to death. Facing the terrifying lightning above his head, Lin Xian's figure swayed and directly rushed over. The dragon's sword domain swayed beside him, turning into an azure dragon that bared its fangs and brandished its claws, surging and roaring. Boom! The azure dragon's shadow was angry and tore all the lightning apart. Not only that, millions of sword lights flew out from Lin Xian's body and slashed in all directions. Puff, 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 puff. The dozen or so experts in the surroundings quickly screamed. They were hit by hundreds of thousands of sword chi and directly turned into blood mist. Damn it, how can he be so strong? I don't believe it. Many people roared madly. However, at this moment, an old man walked out. He held a purple pagoda and said coldly, "Everyone, help me." The king, realm mighty figures of the general's mansion all turned around in shock. This was the demon's ceiling pagoda. Everyone exclaimed. Who would have thought that he would even take out such a treasure? The demon's ceiling pagoda was an extremely terrifying treasure. Since it was able to seal experts, it contained terrifying Tao patterns. It was extremely terrifying. It was even rumored that it could seal peerless almighties. Now that he had taken it out, the people from the general's residence regained their confidence. Charge! Another dozen or so almighties quickly came to the old man's side. They kept waving their palms, sending streams of spiritual energy into the demon's ceiling pagoda. Wong! The demon's ceiling pagoda shone with boundless light, and mysterious runes appeared on it. Whoosh! It shot out a purple ray of light, which instantly enveloped Lin Xian. Lin Xian frowned. He felt a sense of danger and wanted to use the demigods and semi-devils. However, a terrifying power instantly sucked him into the demon's ceiling pagoda. Boom! The demon's ceiling pagoda rotated in the air and landed on the ground. The Tao patterns on it shone even brighter. Ha ha! Seeing this scene, the people from the general's residence finally laughed wildly. Their bodies were stained with blood, but at this moment they were cheering. That was because they had finally captured the young demon king. As expected of the demon's ceiling pagoda, a legendary treasure. It was indeed terrifying. Humph! I'll be able to completely refine that kid in less than half an hour. At that time, we'll seal that dragon. I want to extract their souls from their bodies. I'll burn them with endless flames. I'll let them suffer for thousands of years. I'll let them know what it means to live a life worse than death. These people looked ferocious. However, at this moment, a cold voice came from the demon's ceiling pagoda. What demon's ceiling pagoda? In my opinion, it's just a broken pagoda. Do you really think you can seal me? What? Hearing this voice, everyone was stunned. What was going on? How could this kid still speak? They were terrified because legend had it that after entering the demon's ceiling pagoda, even peerless almighties would be sealed by a terrifying power. In the end, they would turn into a pool of blood. However, the other party could still speak, and from the looks of it, he didn't seem to have suffered much damage. What was going on? Could it be that the energy in the demon ceiling pagoda was useless against this kid? Impossible! They were about to go crazy. This kid was too strange. The old man's face was even gloomier. He roared angrily, "Everyone, let's work together and quickly refine this kid." Okay. The dozen or so almighties nodded. They quickly activated their spiritual power and poured it into the demon ceiling pagoda. Immediately, terrifying Tao patterns flickered, and the demon ceiling pagoda shone brightly. It was like a peerless treasure that kept spinning. Boom. However, at this moment, the demon ceiling pagoda trembled violently, and a terrifying voice sounded like thunder. The dozen or so almighties' faces turned pale. Damn it, what was going on? These almighties were terrified, while the old man's face was gloomy. Oh no, that kid is trying to break through. Hurry up and suppress him. Don't let him out. Hurry up. Everyone come over. Another 20 or so figures came over, and there were more than 10 kings among them. Although they were weak, they couldn't care less now. It was always good to be able to add a bit of strength. Immediately, the dozen or so kings joined forces and frantically poured their power into the demon-sealing pagoda, wanting to seal Lin Xian. However, at this moment, another earth-shattering sound was heard. This time, it was several times stronger than before. Boom! The shock waves caused the king realm experts to continuously retreat. Some of the kings even vomited blood. They were terrified. They didn't expect the other party to be so powerful. Damn it! They gritted their teeth and prepared to use their powers again. Boom! 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 Another earth-shattering explosion sounded in front of them. Then, the incomparably terrifying demon-sealing pagoda exploded into pieces. And from inside, a figure rushed out. That person was Lin Xian. As soon as he appeared, he used the chaotic heaven destroyer sword, and the terrifying sword technique pierced through all directions. More than 30 martial artists were all killed. Murderous intent surged from his body, and his eyes flickered with a golden light. He was like a god of death. Those who block me will die. Lin Xian held the ancient dragon abyss sword, and dragon-shaped sword chi surrounded his body as he strode forward. The demon-sealing pagoda was indeed powerful, but Lin Xian's great dragon sword soul was even more terrifying. The moment he entered the demon-sealing pagoda, he directly sent out the great dragon sword soul. The power of the great dragon sword soul was incomparably terrifying. Coupled with the ancient dragon abyss sword, the power was absolutely shocking. Therefore, although the demon-sealing pagoda was powerful, it couldn't resist at all and was directly blown apart. That was why the previous scene happened. After killing these King Realm Almighties, Lin Xian strode forward. Chapter 22-25. Around them, countless figures moved quickly. They did not dare to get close at all. That was because the scene from before had truly shocked them to the core. In the air, Xian Feng looked at the other party with a gloomy face. He did not expect the other party to be so powerful. Could it be that the other party could really massacre the general's mansion? Thinking of this, his face turned gloomy, and he looked to the other side. There, a dark red figure and a white figure were moving freely. The terrifying power also blasted all the martial artists in the general's mansion away. Not only that, the dragon and monkey specifically picked the secret chamber of the general's mansion and robbed many treasures. Seeing this scene, Xian Feng's face became even gloomier. 2 beasts actually dared to rob the general's mansion? If this spread out, no one would believe it. However, at this moment, there was another exclamation from below. Not good. Damn it. This kid's target was actually there. Hearing this, Xian Feng also looked down. In the next moment, his pupils shrank, because he also discovered Lin Xian's intention. Damn it. This kid's target was actually the super teleportation array. Could it be that he wanted to escape? Xian Feng's face was gloomy. He naturally knew that the entire Tai dynasty was after the other party, and the one who was in charge of this matter was his elder brother. In addition to the tempting reward issued by the imperial edict, it could be said that all the experts in the entire Tai dynasty were chasing after the other party. Not only that, it was said that the experts of the war tribe were also there. Moreover, these people also knew that the other party was likely to use the super teleportation array to escape. Therefore, the 12 main cities were heavily guarded with countless almighties guarding them. As long as the other party dared to enter, they would definitely capture him. However, they did not expect that the other party did not enter the 12 main cities, but came to their general's mansion instead. Other than the 12 main cities, there were super teleportation arrays in the Duke's mansions. Of course, There was another place which was their general's mansion. Whether it was the duke's mansion or the general's mansion, they were heavily guarded and had many experts. Moreover, they did not think that the other party would dare to come. However, they did not expect the other party to really come. Damn it, this is too much. Does he really think that there is no one in the general's mansion? Xian Feng's face was gloomy, his eyes were red, and his body emitted a biting cold, killing intent. The other party actually wanted to use the super teleportation array to escape. How could he let him succeed? Men, set up the 10-direction killing array. He absolutely could not let that brat escape. His voice was loud and clear, spreading to every corner of the general's residence. In an instant, countless figures soared into the air and converged in this direction. They quickly took their positions below. Inscriptions lit up under their feet and intertwined on the ground. It formed an incomparably profound array. There were hundreds of people in this formation, and all of them were king realm experts. At this moment, they had formed a terrifying killing formation together. The energy was truly terrifying to the extreme. The 10-direction killing formation was a formation passed down from ancient times. It was extremely terrifying. It was rumored that once it was used, it could wipe out the 9 heavens, 10 earths. No one able to escape. At this moment, seeing that Lin Xian wanted to use the super teleportation formation, Xian Feng could no longer hold it in. He displayed the incomparably terrifying Great Sand Town. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Sounds rang out one after another. Terrifying radiance linked up heaven and earth. These were all formed from murderous energy. As soon as they came out, they tore apart the sky and quickly flew toward Lin Xian. This was the murderous aura formed by the ancient array. It was extremely terrifying. When Lin Xian saw the array and felt the murderous aura, his face changed. That was because he felt a sense of danger. Moreover, what shocked him even more was that the 10-direction killing formation had sealed the entire space. Terrifying murderous aura was everywhere. It pierced through the void, making it impossible for him to dodge. Humph! Lin Xian snorted. Since he couldn't dodge, he could only block it with all his might. He formed a seal with his palms, and the sea god's ice spread rapidly on his body. The ice goddess appeared, and the terrifying power of ice resisted the murderous aura. Boom, boom, boom. The power of the sea god's ice was extremely terrifying. It instantly froze the surroundings. The murderous aura in the sky was completely frozen. At a glance, it was a world of ice and frost. In fact, even the king realm experts below were trembling. Because of this cold aura, their faces turned pale, and the blood in their bodies was about to be frozen. Damn it, this guy has such a strong power of ice. He actually blocked the first layer of murderous aura. Many people were shocked. However, Xian Feng snorted. Don't panic. So what if this guy is strong? The 10-direction killing formation had a total of 10 layers of attacks. Each layer would increase the power by several folds. The fact that he could block the first layer didn't mean anything. Don't worry, by the time he reaches the 10th layer, he will definitely die. No one would be able to resist it. Hearing this, the people felt more at ease. Indeed, the 10-direction killing formation had a total of 10 layers of attacks. The power of each layer would increase by several folds. As expected, when these people crazily circulated their inner strength and poured it into the killing formation, countless murderous aura rose between heaven and earth again. This time, the energy was much stronger than before. It directly broke open the void and formed a terrifying black hole. Hellfire, seeing the second layer of murderous aura, Lin Xian snorted. Countless black flames surged out and spread in all directions. This was the hellfire. It was extremely terrifying. It burned fiercely and ignited the murderous aura. Under the terrifying power of the flames, The second layer of murderous aura was burned clean. Damn it! Below, those people roared and launched the third layer of murderous aura. Boom, boom, boom. This time, the murderous aura was extremely terrifying. It was like the Milky Way that descended from the nine heavens. That energy was absolutely unimaginable. Lin Xian snorted coldly. The energy of the sea god's ice and the hellfire intertwined, forming the power of ice and fire to resist the third layer of murderous aura. Then, a sharp light burst out from his eyes. His palms danced continuously, and the power of ice and fire intertwined to form the Hell's Ice Lotus. Under his control, it flew downward. He was not a person who would sit and wait for death. Since the other party had attacked, how could he not retaliate? The terrifying Hell's Ice Lotus spun in the air and continued to expand. The power of ice and fire on it quickly bloomed like a lotus of destruction. As soon as they got close and felt the power of ice and fire, the expressions of the King Almighties below all changed. Their faces were filled with fear. Damn it! Block it! These people released the fourth layer of murderous aura. The terrifying murderous aura soared into the sky like a dragon, roaring ferociously. It collided with the Hell's Ice Lotus. The collision of the two caused an earth-shattering explosion. It was like thunder that spread in all directions. The entire sky was blown up. Terrifying energy swept out, and a large number of palaces collapsed. The general's mansion below was once again heavily damaged. Boom. The fourth layer of murderous aura was too terrifying. Even the Hell's Ice Lotus could not resist it. It shattered in an instant. Chapter 22-26. The fourth streak of killing intent was seriously too terrifying. Even the Hell's Ice Lotus could not resist it too. It shattered in an instant. However, the energy formed by its explosion also blocked the attack of the fourth streak of killing intent, causing the killing intent that filled the sky to dissipate into thin air. Humph! The fifth attack, begin for me. In the sky, Xian Feng snorted coldly, his expression grim. The other party was actually able to block 4 streaks of killing intent in a row. It seriously exceeded his expectations. One had to know, this was an ancient array formation, the 10-directional killing array. Actually, the first streak of killing intent was already able to exterminate a powerhouse. He did not expect that the other party could actually block 4 streaks. It made him hard to believe. But so what? 10 streaks of killing intent. The other party absolutely could not block the attacks behind. Sure enough, when the 5th streak of killing intent rushed over, Lin Xian's expression was solemn too. He felt a surge of terrifying aura pervading in the sky. This was still only the 5th streak of killing intent. One could imagine how terrifying the last few streaks would be. Boom, boom, boom. The power of ice and fire around him was instantly penetrated and shattered into pieces. Seeing this scene, the faces of those martial artists in the general manor were all wild with joy. Penetrated. His defense was penetrated. Ha ha! This kid is absolutely dead for sure. Fighting for so long, they finally broke the other party's defense. Thinking about it, the killing intent this time would definitely be able to penetrate the other party, annihilate the other party. Lin Xian also frowned. One had to admit that these 5 streaks of killing intent were indeed incomparably terrifying. His power of ice and fire was actually unable to resist. Then, what if adding in the power of lightning? The power of ice, fire, and lightning in Lin Xian's body right now all came from the 3-headed hellhound. These 3 types of power were originally of the same origin. So at this moment, Lin Xian displayed a great magical ability and directly fused the 3 types of power together. Boom, boom, boom. In the sky, flames spread out, lightning descended, and cold ice scattered. The terrifying 3 types of power fused in the sky, transforming into the 3-headed hellhound, roaring at the sky. Roar! The 3 heads were incomparably hideous, although it was just an illusion at this moment. It seemed as if it was real, crushing the void. That enormous body made everyone's expression change. Damn it! What was this thing? These people were terrified. 3-headed hellhound. This was the legendary Cerberus. Someone cried out in surprise. Damn it! How did he do it? Kill! Lin Xian roared. He stood on the Cerberus and waved his hand. Wung! 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 The 3 heads began to bombard each other. Boom! Bolts of lightning descended, piercing through heaven and earth. This came from the middle head. The left head spewed out hellfire, while the right head spewed out terrifying ice. The 3 heads attacked at the same time, and a terrifying energy descended upon the world. These energies collided with the 5th killing intent, causing the heavens to collapse and the earth to split. The aftermath of the energy was like a vast ocean, sweeping in all directions. In the end, the 5th wave of killing intent was blocked. Damn it, he actually blocked it. How was this possible? Dream, I must be dreaming. The people from the general's mansion were all stunned. They looked at the gigantic Cerberus in the sky, as well as Lin Xian's figure. With so many powerful cultivators joining forces, they unleashed the 10-directional absolute kill formation and unleashed the 5th wave of terrifying killing intent. However, they were unable to injure him at all. They couldn't believe it. Was he still human? Was he really from the younger generation? Even a peerless almighty wouldn't be able to do this. On the other side, Xian Feng's face was gloomy. His body was surging with killing intent. He gritted his teeth and roared. Damn it! The 6th wave of killing intent. Kill him! Boom! The 6th wave of killing intent was extremely terrifying, far surpassing the 5th wave. Therefore, even the Cerberus with 3 types of energy couldn't block it. In the end, it was killed by the 6th wave of killing intent. Humph! Without 3 types of energy, let's see how you block it. Xian Feng snorted. The powerful cultivators from the general's mansion also revealed a sinister smile. The other party's 3 types of energy, ice, lightning, and fire, were completely destroyed. This time, the other party should be dead for sure. He was indeed strong. But so what? In terms of offense, I won't lose to you. Lin Xian snorted. This wasn't a battle of defense, but a battle of offense. The 10-directional absolute kill formation's terrifying killing intent, each wave stronger than the previous. However, Lin Xian's attack power was even more terrifying. The next instant, he brandished the Dragon Abyss ancient sword and unleashed the Chaos Heaven Destroyer sword art. Battle Song, Demon Seal, 2 types of ultimate moves were unleashed, directly tearing the 6th wave of attack apart. What? He still had an ultimate move. Damn it. How was this possible? Everyone went crazy. In their view, the other party should be helpless without the 3 types of energy attacks. They didn't expect that the other party actually still had such a heaven-defying sword art. Could it be that the other party couldn't be killed? How was this possible? They went crazy and launched the 7th wave of attack again. Chaos Heaven Destroyer sword, sky crumbling. Lin Xian's body bloomed with incomparable sword light. He launched the 3rd killing move of the Heaven Tier sword art. Heaven Tier sword art coupled with the Heaven Tier treasure. That power was terrifying to the extreme. Therefore, the 7th wave of sword art was directly shattered, vanishing into the void. Not only that, this time, the swift and fierce sword light annihilated the killing intent, scattering toward countless figures below. What? He was actually so powerful. Below, those people's scalps tingled. Seeing this scene, their faces turned incomparably pale. Hurry and condense the 8th wave of killing intent. These people roared crazily. However, the 8th wave of killing intent had yet to condense successfully when this sword light already descended. Boom, boom, boom. The ground split open and countless cracks appeared. Many people were directly slashed into a bloody mist. There were also some who vomited large mouthfuls of blood. In an instant, almost 1/3 of the people were killed. Panic. These people were extremely panic-stricken. All of them went crazy. They didn't expect the other party's sword to be so powerful. Damn it. The 9th wave of sword chi. Kill him for me. Kill him for me. Xian Feng roared crazily. His face was terrifying. In his view, when the 5th wave of killing intent was released, it should be able to kill the other party. However, he didn't expect that the 9th wave of killing intent would be released now. The 9th wave of killing intent pierced through heaven and earth. The terrifying energy pierced through all directions. One had to admit that this was the 10-direction ultimate killing formation. It was indeed incomparably terrifying, this wave of killing intent. Even if a peerless almighty came, they probably wouldn't be able to resist. Buzz. Pirates must die. Lin Xian naturally also felt the danger. The great dragon sword soul in his body kept roaring, and the dragon sword domain surrounded him. It merged with the ancient dragon abyss sword in his hand. With a slash, it seemed to be able to destroy heaven and earth. In the sky, the sword chi kept surging, turning into a long dragon and tearing the void. The surrounding sky kept collapsing, and the terrifying energy swallowed the 9th wave of killing intent. Subsequently, the two dissipated in the void together. He blocked it. This kid actually blocked the 9th wave of killing intent. How exactly did he do it? The people below went crazy. They didn't dare to believe it at all. Xian Feng was also no longer calm. He quickly descended and also came into the formation. In the next moment, he threw out 9 flags and hit the formation. The 9 flags flickered with mysterious demonic runes. Xian Feng's entire person was also incomparably ferocious. He quickly formed seals, forming one after another magical runes that revolved around him. At the same time, an unusually cold voice came from his mouth and filled the void. The 10th wave of killing intent, 10-direction ultimate killing formation. Chapter 22-27. An unusually cold voice came out of his mouth and spread across the rift. The 10th murderous aura, absolute kill. The last murderous aura of the absolute kill formation was finally unleashed. Along with Xian Feng's voice, the entire absolute kill formation shone brightly, and a terrifying force was formed. The expressions of the kings and almighties from the general's mansion changed. Their bodies trembled, and their eyes were filled with fear. That was because they felt a mysterious suction force under their feet that sucked away all the energy in their bodies. Damn it, what's going on? Why is this happening? These people screamed crazily. They could clearly feel that the energy in their bodies was quickly disappearing like flowing water. All of it was integrated into the absolute kill formation. This was completely different from when they activated the formation previously. Previously they were active, but now they were passive. The formation could actually absorb their energy. This was the first time they had seen such a strange thing. No, damn it, open up. Some of the weaker kings screamed crazily. Their faces were pale without a trace of blood. In fact, their bodies were on the verge of collapsing at any time. That was because the spiritual energy in their bodies had dried up. However, the devouring force did not disappear and was still sucking them dry. They could not take it at all. Screams were heard as these people fell to the ground without any energy in their bodies. Fortunately, although the formation had absorbed their energy, it did not endanger their lives. This made many people secretly heave a sigh of relief. However, they were still shocked. Lin Xian naturally saw this strange scene as well. He frowned. The 10th murderous aura was too strange. It was even more terrifying than the previous 9. Its power was even more powerful than the previous 9 combined. Boom, 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 boom. Between heaven and earth, terrifying vibrations were heard as murderous auras swirled in the sky. These murderous auras were too terrifying. They emitted an extremely mysterious aura that shook people's hearts. Buzz. Moreover, what was even more shocking was that the murderous auras that filled the sky danced in the sky and formed an inexplicable figure. That figure was very blurry, but if one looked closely, one could still vaguely make out that it was a human figure. However, it was too big and covered the sky. One could not see it clearly at all. There seemed to be a low voice coming from somewhere. It was like an ancient demonic sound, shaking everyone until their scalps went numb. Was this the final attack of the 10 directional killing formation? When the people from the general's residence saw this scene, they were extremely shocked. This was because they had never seen 10 attacks before. At that moment, after seeing it, they all cried out in surprise. This was truly a miracle in the world. Lin Xian also felt a terrifying sense of danger. That hazy figure caused the heavens and earth to tremble. Even the blood in his body began to tremble as if it had been frozen. As expected of an ancient killing formation, it was indeed powerful. Lin Xian did not dare to be the slightest bit careless. The great dragon sword spirit in his body revolved, turning into a dragon shadow that coiled around his body. Wang, incomparable divine, light bloomed from his body, as if he was wearing a dragon-shaped armor. In fact, there were even dragon roars that resounded throughout the world. It collided with the mysterious voice in front of him, producing a thunderous sound. Damn it, what was that? King Lin Xian's dragon shadow aura was extremely shocking to these people. Tao of the dragon aura. Damn it, how could he have the aura of the Tao of dragon? Could it be that he was from the royal family? Impossible. How could he be from the royal family? These people were all crazy. The aura of the Tao of dragon was a remarkable ability that only the royal family had, but the other party had actually used it. Moreover, the power was incomparably terrifying. This made them unable to believe it at all, as if they were dreaming. Who was this kid? He was too mysterious. Everyone was extremely shocked. They guessed that the other party was very likely to be from a certain dynasty, but his identity was too secretive. They had no idea at all. However, no one had ever thought of the great dragon sword, because these people would never have thought that this was the great dragon sword spirit. Perhaps other than the Golden Lion King, no one could have guessed it. Wang, the dragon shadow on Lin Xian's body continued to spread, wrapping around the ancient dragon abyss sword, and Lin Xian's entire arm. Wang, Lin Xian waved the ancient sword, and the aura of the great dragon sword spirit erupted. A loud dragon roar resounded. Sky shattering. A terrifying heaven-grade sword technique surged out, turning into an eternity between heaven and earth. In the next moment, this eternal sword light collided with the 10th murderous aura attack. Boom, boom, boom. Heaven and earth trembled as terrifying energy blasted out in all directions. The void was instantly torn apart, and countless abysses appeared. It was pitch black and extremely terrifying. The general's mansion below also collapsed abruptly. A large number of palaces were destroyed. Even with the defensive array, they could not withstand it at all. At this moment, the entire general's residence was completely impacted. It was split into several pieces, split into several halves. Under the impact of this terrifying energy, Lin Xian kept retreating. He also received the shockwave, and his blood was in turmoil. His face was pale. Fortunately, the dragon-shaped sword aura circled around his body, releasing a terrifying attack that cut off all the energy shockwaves around him. On the other side, Xianfeng and all the other King Almighties kept retreating. Their faces were filled with fear, and their blood was in turmoil. Those who were stronger could still preserve their lives. Those who were weaker were directly sent flying. There were even some who were hit by the blood mist. Most of them had their bones broken, and they spat out large mouthfuls of blood. This sword had severely injured all the King Almighties in the general's mansion. The terrifying energy was still surging, and the cracks between heaven and earth were still spreading. The 10-direction killing array below was spinning rapidly. Most of the murderous aura had been shattered, but some remained in the air, forming vortexes that seemed to be absorbing something. Indeed, the blood below was all absorbed by these vortexes, and then they were absorbed into these vortexes. One should know that the general's mansion had lost many experts in the previous battle. Their blood contained terrifying energy. Although it was scattered in all directions, it did not disappear. At this moment, under the attraction of the murderous aura vortexes, all of it came out. What? It can absorb blood? How is this possible? The surviving Almighties were extremely shocked. Looking at this scene, they quickly retreated, afraid that they would be absorbed. In the distance, the Crimson Dragon and the other experts also appeared. They were originally still fighting, but the energy shockwaves here made them feel bewildered. That was because the energy was simply too powerful. What happened? Everyone was dumbfounded. They had seen the 10-directional absolute kill formation before, but they had never seen such a situation. Even that Xianfeng had a face full of shock. To be honest, he had never heard of the 10-direction killing array being able to absorb blood. What is going on? At this moment, everyone in the general's mansion was stunned. Chapter 22-28. The 10-direction killing formation can absorb blood? He had never heard of it before. What's going on? Xianfeng was dumbfounded. At this moment, everyone in the general's mansion was stunned. What's going on? At this moment, everyone in the general's mansion was stunned. Lin Xian furrowed his brows as he watched the strange scene unfold. Beside him, the Crimson Dragon and the snow-white monkey came to his side. The Crimson Dragon said, "Kid, be careful. This formation is a little strange." Lin Xian nodded and held the ancient sword in his hand tightly. In front of him, the 10-direction killing formation absorbed endless blood and kept rolling. A terrifying and monstrous blood chi gushed out, turning the entire void into a blood-red color. The void vibrated, and a blood-red figure appeared. The killing formation of 10 directions emitted countless blood-colored mists, forming a blood-colored human figure that floated in the void. Looking at the blood-red figure, Lin Xian's pupils shrank, because he realized that the blood-red figure was very similar to the blurry figure that had appeared before. But this time, it wasn't as huge as before. Instead, it was sitting there like a normal person. Around him, endless killing aura circled and turned into swords and sabers. This is? Lin Xian frowned. The Crimson Dragon's eyes flickered. The people in the general's mansion were also shocked. Why would a blood-red figure appear in the 10-direction killing formation? What's the relationship between this figure and the killing formation? However, at this moment, Xianfeng exclaimed, "I know, this is the Killer God Phantom." What? The Killer God Phantom? Those King Realm experts exclaimed. They had never heard of it before. Xianfeng was extremely excited. His body trembled. That's right, the Killer God Phantom. It's definitely the Killer God Phantom, Xianfeng said excitedly when he saw the confusion of the people around him. Legend has it that the 10-direction killing formation was created by an extremely powerful array grandmaster in ancient times. Legend has it that in ancient times, this array grandmaster was fortunate enough to see a shocking sword mark. It was rumored that the sword scar was extremely terrifying, not scattering even after 1,000 years. This formation grandmaster had studied the sword scar for 300 years and felt the aura on it before he created the 10 directions absolute death formation. What? He had observed the sword scar for 300 years. What kind of sword scar was this? How could it be so terrifying? After hearing this, these King Realm Almighties were extremely shocked. They stopped attacking and fell into deep thought. After all, there was a mysterious crimson figure in the void. The aura that it exuded was much more terrifying than all of them combined. On the other side, Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon didn't make a move either. The two of them also frowned. He also wanted to know where this sword mark came from. It was said that it was caused by the divine sword, one of the 5 swords of the world. I didn't quite believe it before, but now that I've seen the scene, I'm finally convinced. Do you see that blood-colored vortex? I think that sword scar was left behind by the heaven-devouring sword, one of the 5 swords of the world. What? Heaven-devouring sword? Did such a thing really exist? Everyone exclaimed. They had only heard of the 5 swords of the world in legends. However, no one had really seen it. It hadn't appeared in the past few thousand years. In their opinion, it was just an ancient legend. But now, it seemed that wasn't the case. Perhaps such a supreme being really did exist. On the other side, Lin Xian was also stunned. In fact, he was even more shocked than these people. He didn't expect this 10 directions absolute death formation to be related to the heaven-devouring sword, one of the 5 swords of the world. One had to know that the heaven-devouring sword was in Lord Alcohol's hands. Lin Xian had even experienced the power of the heaven-devouring sword before. He didn't expect to see an array related to the heaven-devouring sword again. Thinking of this, he was in a daze. He didn't know how Lord Alcohol was doing. It had been a long time since there was any news of him. When the King Realm Almighties from the general's residence heard that this array was related to the heaven-devouring sword, they all became excited. Each of the 5 swords of the world was earth-shattering and terrifying. Legend had it that as long as one obtained one of them, they would become a supreme existence. One could imagine how terrifying they were. Now, the 10 directions absolute death formation was actually related to the heaven-devouring sword. Thinking about it, its power was definitely beyond their imagination. The blood-red figure in front of them was enough to prove it. The aura he emitted made one's hair stand on end. In fact, many people almost knelt on the ground. The corner of Xian Feng's mouth curled up into a sinister smile. He knew that the kid was dead for sure. Anyone who dared to go against such an array would definitely die. Perhaps even an almighty wouldn't be able to escape. In the next moment, he and the other King Realm Almighties activated the array with all their might. Buzz, pirates must die. The blood-red figure, sitting cross-legged in the void, opened his eyes. Buzz, 2 blood-red eyes shot out, and the void in front of him shattered like a mirror. Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon's faces changed. Their bodies swayed, and they instantly left their original spot. Crack, crack, crack. The place where they were originally standing was pierced through, and countless cracks appeared. There was even a pitch-black hole that kept shrinking. How terrifying! Behind them, the King Realm Almighties from the general's residence went crazy. Just one look was enough to shatter the void. This was definitely an almighty god of death. That kid was definitely dead. Kid, how dare you go against the general's residence? Today is the day you die. Let's see how you fight back this time. No one in this world can save you. These people sneered and quickly swallowed elixirs to recover their strength. At the same time, their eyes were fixed on the scene in front of them. In the sky, as the blood-red figure opened his eyes, An increasingly terrifying, murderous aura filled the air. It made people want to kneel down and worship him. Lin Xian snorted. The dragon's shadow circled around his body like a god of war. The great dragon sword's soul shone brightly, blocking the terrifying, murderous aura. However, his expression was extremely solemn. Humph! Isn't it just a killing array? What's so great about it? Lin Xian snorted. Do you think you can stop me just because you are related to the sky-devouring sword? It's just a sword mark from the sky-devouring sword. It's not even the real sky-devouring sword. What's there to show off? Lin Xian's cold voice sounded. On the opposite side, Xian Feng and the rest sneered. Kid, you are too stupid. You don't know how terrifying the sky-devouring sword is. The 5 swords of the world, each of them is a supreme existence. Its power is beyond your imagination. With your cultivation level, you can't understand it. So, go to hell and slowly experience it. Xian Feng and the rest sneered. They looked at Lin Xian as if they were looking at a dead man. Lin Xian, on the other hand, had a look of disdain. He doesn't know the power of the 5 swords of the world? What a joke! In the entire world, no one knew it better than him. Chapter 22-29. The sword spirit of the great dragon sword, one of the 5 swords in the world, was in his body. This was the sword spirit of the great dragon sword. It was an offensive saint technique between heaven and earth. As for the blood-red figure, it was only related to the sky-devouring sword. In a real fight, it was no match for Lin Xian. Of course, Lin Xian did not dare to be careless. After all, the blood-red figure had absorbed the blood of countless experts. Its energy was indeed terrifying. In the next moment, he held the ancient sword in his hand, and the dragon aura on his body became even brighter. Today, let me break this formation of yours. I will let you know that there is nothing in the general's residence that can stop me. In the next moment, Lin Xian waved the ancient sword, and streaks of terrifying sword chi gushed out and slashed forward. He dared to make a move. He was courting death. Just you wait. He will be killed in an instant. The people below sneered. In the air, a few streaks of sword chi flew out. It was extremely terrifying, and like lightning, it continuously descended. When they arrived in front of the blood-red figure, the light in the blood-red figure's eyes became brighter and brighter, and an earth-shattering, murderous aura erupted from his body. Accompanying it was the energy of countless experts. The crimson figure was formed from the blood of countless experts. Its power was absolutely terrifying when it was unleashed at this moment. It was even more terrifying than the 10th streak of sword chi. Boom. In an instant, the sky full of sword chi was shattered and turned into nothingness. The terrifying, murderous aura, mixed with the blood-red light, rushed in all directions. Among them, even more charged towards Lin Xian. Boom, boom. Lin Xian was hit by the impact and kept retreating. There was a trace of blood at the corner of his mouth. Seeing this scene, the people from the general's residence laughed complacently. Xian Feng's eyes were even colder. Humph, kid, so what if you were strong? In front of this killing formation, there is no way you can survive. The blood-red figure's eyes flickered. Although it was not a real life, there was a trace of mockery in its eyes at this moment. Humph! Lin Xian snorted and wiped the blood at the corner of his mouth. His eyes gradually became sharp. The power was not bad. It was indeed powerful. But so what? This little bit of power is not enough to defeat me. I'll show you what true power is. As he spoke, Lin Xian let out a furious roar, as an unparalleled sword chi erupted from his body. A dragon-shaped shadow completely enveloped him. Then, it let out a loud dragon roar. A terrifying battle prowess erupted from his body. At this moment, Lin Xian was like a god of war, unstoppable. Kill. With a furious roar, the heavens and earth shook. A terrifying sword light shot out from Lin Xian's hand and slashed forward. Boom, boom. The red light that filled the sky shattered, unable to withstand the aura of the sword Dao. Below, Xian Feng and the other almighties were horrified. Many people trembled and knelt on the ground. Damn it! How could this be? How could this brat have such a powerful combat strength? They were all going crazy because they discovered that the other party's combat strength was like a bottomless pit that could be infinitely increased. Boom! There was an earth-shattering collision. The crimson aura that filled the sky was slashed apart. The terrifying aura of the sword Dao came directly above the crimson figure. It slashed down from the sky. Boom! The crimson figure raised a palm and blocked the terrifying sword Qi. But in the next moment, his palm was slashed apart. Not only that, half of his body was also slashed into two. What? How could this be? Seeing that the other party had slashed apart the illusionary figure, Xian Feng, and the rest went crazy. Wasn't this the mysterious figure related to the sky-swallowing sword? He should be extremely terrifying. How could he be killed in an instant? They could not believe it. But in the next moment, they were stunned, because the crimson figure that was slashed into two gradually healed and was unharmed. He was fine. He was not injured at all. These people almost bit off their tongues. What kind of superpower was this? Immortal body? They were too shocked. With such a terrifying sword Qi, even a peerless almighty would be killed if he was hit. However, the crimson figure was completely unharmed. That's great. This figure was not a real life. As long as the energy was still there, he would not be killed. An old man said in a deep voice. His face was full of excitement, and after the others heard, they also came to a realization. Indeed, this was condensed from the blood of a powerhouse. As long as the energy of the blood was not extinguished, the crimson figure could exist forever. Thinking of this, they laughed wildly again. Kid, no matter how powerful your sword Dao is, you can't kill this crimson figure at all. When your strength is exhausted, there is only one outcome for you, and that is to be killed. Lin Xian also frowned. The other party could actually heal. It was indeed beyond his expectations. But so what? The great dragon sword soul destroyed everything. How could it be healed so easily? Lin Xian did not make a move again. Instead, he looked ahead coldly. Sure enough, in the next moment, the crimson figure suddenly let out a roar. Then, the crimson light all over his body surged. That healed body split open again. Damn it! What happened? That kid made a move. Seeing this scene, the people from the general's residence in the distance were all stunned. They clearly did not see the other party make a move. So how could the crimson figure split open again? Could it be that the other party's sword Qi was so fast that they could not catch it? But how was that possible? They could also see the sword Qi of a peerless almighty, unless the other party was an invincible king. However, this was simply impossible. Why was the crimson figure injured? They did not know, so they were all terrified. Roar! In the sky, the crimson figure roared crazily, letting out a thunderous sound. His blood-red body was split in half again. Fine strands of sword Qi swam around the wound, preventing it from healing. That's right, this was the power of the great dragon sword soul. No matter how strong the other party was, how could it be destroyed? It's useless. Stop struggling. You can't resist my sword Qi at all. Seeing that you are related to the sky-devouring sword, I can give you a quick death. Sword light erupted from Lin Xian's body again. He slowly raised the ancient dragon abyss sword in his hand. Boom, boom. However, Although the crimson figure was split into two again, he did not die. He grabbed at the sky with both hands. Countless crimson lights streaked across, and hundreds of palm shadows covered the sky. Among them, countless palm shadows grabbed onto the 9 banners and waved them nonstop. The 9 crimson flags danced wildly in the sky. It caused a crimson gust of wind to blow between heaven and earth. It whistled incessantly, as if an evil spirit was out. However, something even more shocking happened. The bodies of the powerful almighties in the distance suddenly exploded, turning into a bloody mist. Damn it, what happened? These people screamed and fled into the distance. Chapter 22:30. One of the Almighties flew halfway, and his body exploded. Another Almighty's was covered in armor and surrounded by 18 shields. However, he still could not block this mysterious power. Boom! His body turned into a blood mist. A series of explosions rang out as powerful beings exploded one after another. The people around him went crazy. Those who were timid were scared out of their wits. Some directly knelt on the ground and kept kowtowing. As for the more powerful ones, they all roared madly and unleashed defensive techniques without any regard for their lives. Xian Feng's face was also gloomy. He roared crazily. Damn it, why? Why did it turn out like this? He could not understand why the crimson figure would attack them. Weren't they in the same group? In the blink of an eye, the 9 Almighties exploded and turned into blood that danced in the sky. The blood did not flow but gathered around the crimson figure and integrated into the body of the crimson figure. It emitted an even more terrifying energy. The crimson figure absorbed the energy of the Almighty's blood. The body that was split into 2 started to heal. It actually used the blood of the Almighties to forcefully erase the power of the dragon sword soul. On the opposite side, Lin Xian saw this scene and was shocked. He realized that although the crimson figure was not a real life, it actually had intelligence and knew how to make use of the blood. He had to admit that it was really out of his expectations. He felt that he had to quickly get rid of the crimson figure. Otherwise, if the crimson figure absorbed enough blood, it would definitely be a huge problem. Just as Lin Xian was about to make a move, something strange happened again. Because the crimson figure had absorbed the blood of the 9 Almighties and erased the aura of the dragon sword soul, causing the broken body to heal again. However, this was not the end. A crimson palm instantly pierced through the void and grabbed Xian Feng behind. Xian Feng's head was grabbed by the crimson palm. He screamed, and his eyes were filled with fear. Damn it, get lost! In the next moment, a majestic energy surged out from his body. Boom, boom, boom. The space around him exploded. However, it was useless. In front of the crimson palm, his top Almighty's cultivation was not enough. You can't kill me, Xian Feng screamed in fear. He was no match for the other party. As for the other King Almighties in the surroundings, their faces were filled with fear as they retreated continuously. Wang, the blood-red palm, did not kill Xian Feng. Instead, it grabbed him and tore through the void, arriving beside the blood-red figure. What are you trying to do? Xian Feng's voice trembled. Originally, he wanted to use the bloody figure to kill Lin Xian, but this sudden situation made it impossible for him to control it. He didn't even know if this blood-red figure was a blessing or a curse for the general's residence. Wang. The bloody figure did not answer at all. He turned his head and fixed his red eyes on Xian Feng. When Xian Feng and the red eyes met, he felt like his soul was shaking and his mind was blank. He fell into a daze as he stood in the void. His eyes became blank. At this time, the blood-red figure's body began to melt and gradually entered Xian Feng's body. What was going on? Everyone went crazy. Could it be that the blood-red silhouette wanted to devour Xianfeng? Thinking of this, their scalps went numb. When Lin Xian saw this, he harumphed coldly and slashed out with the ancient sword in his hand. Rays of sword qi slashed forward. He would not let the blood-red silhouette have his way. However, the blood-red silhouette was too fast. In an instant, the blood-red figure had completely entered Xianfeng's body. Whoa! Xianfeng's sluggish eyes instantly turned sharp and red. Two rays of red light, like a long knife, slashed through the void and collided with the sword qi in the sky. Ah! Xianfeng roared to the sky, and the terrifying sound wave shattered the 9 heavens. His black hair had also turned blood red, and blood-red patterns had appeared on his body, covering his entire body. A terrifying blood-red aura swept across the universe. Boom! The explosion of energy was too powerful. It blocked Lin Xian's sword qi. Boom, boom, boom. The two collided in the air and disappeared at the same time. On the other side, Lin Xian creased his eyebrows. On the other side, Xianfeng was standing in the void. He looked at his hands and clenched them tightly. Then, a cold smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. Is this the body of a human? It's really magical. Hearing these inexplicable words, everyone was stunned. Was this still Xianfeng? Or is this the blood-red silhouette? They did not know that the Almighties were all looking forward in fear. Xianfeng looked around and finally fixed his eyes on Lin Xian. Suddenly, a terrifying light bloomed in his eyes. What powerful blood qi! I can feel that there is a mysterious power in your body. If I can get your body, I will be perfect. Xianfeng stared at Lin Xian. His eyes were shining with excitement. Obviously, he wanted to get Lin Xian's body. Lin Xian scoffed coldly. How dare you be so arrogant in front of me? Go to hell! Lin Xian's sword qi exploded, and the ancient sword in his hand emitted a shocking sword light. The terrifying sword shadow slashed forward. Boom! The heaven and earth trembled. The sword qi in the sky emitted an unparalleled aura that seemed to be able to destroy the heaven and earth. The ancient dragon abyss sword also transformed. It grew bigger and turned into a huge dragon. The sword runes on it flickered and trembled. It seemed to be very excited because it had not drunk the blood of an expert for a long time. On the opposite side, Xianfeng's lips curled into a sinister smile. In the next moment, endless blood light wrapped around his palm and grabbed forward. On the palm, there were blood-red runes that emitted a terrifying aura. The palm covered the heaven and earth as if it was going to grab the entire world in its hands. Buzz! Kill him! Lin Xian roared. On the ancient dragon abyss sword, the first rune of the 9 mysterious runes was automatically unsealed. Boom! The power of the ancient dragon abyss sword exploded. The terrifying sword qi was like the sun, extremely dazzling. Not only that, the power of the great dragon sword soul was injected into the ancient dragon abyss sword, causing the ancient sword to become unusually agile. It was as if a huge dragon was moving in the sky. Boom! In the next moment, the two collided and an unparalleled power exploded. The sky was shrouded in light and nothing could be seen clearly. The entire general's mansion was completely shrouded. Ah, damn it! At this moment, there was a scream that was filled with endless anger. That was because the blood-red hand had been slashed by the terrifying ancient sword. There were cracks on it, and they continued to expand. Boom! In the end, the entire palm collapsed. Not only that, a terrifying sword aura instantly surged up that arm and chopped it off completely. Boom! 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 Xianfeng held onto his severed arm and retreated. On the other side, Lin Xian was also hit by the terrifying energy. Although he had the protection of the dragon-shaped sword shadow, The impact still caused him to retreat continuously. He even spat out 3 mouthfuls of blood. In the sky, the energy became even more violent. It formed countless turbulence and covered the entire space. Below, the kings and almighties of the general's mansion stared at it with sharp eyes. At the same time, they were extremely nervous. What was the situation like? Who won and who lost? Chapter 2231. Those martial artists in the general's mansion were extremely nervous. How was the situation? Who won and who lost? Very soon, they saw it. But at the same time, they screamed, because they realized that Xianfeng was actually injured again. This was too unbelievable. They knew that the current Xianfeng was no longer the Xianfeng from before. It was the Xianfeng after being devoured by the crimson figure. The power was absolutely terrifying, reaching the realm of an unparalleled almighty. But even so, he was actually injured by someone. Even his arm was chopped off by the other party. This scene was indeed hard for them to believe. When they looked inside, they were also shocked. They realized that although Lin Xian was injured, it was not fatal. Lin Xian was indeed injured. So he hurriedly grabbed a large number of treasures and elixirs and swallowed them. The longevity secret quickly operated, absorbing these elixirs to repair his body. His body was tempered by various treasures and immemorial demon blood. It was incomparably tough. In addition to the powerful recovery ability of the longevity secret, even if he was injured, he could recover quickly. Moreover, with the dragon-shaped sword shadow on his body, the injury he suffered was actually not too serious. So very soon, he snorted coldly and charged over again. On the opposite side, Xianfeng's face was gloomy and incomparably ugly. He realized that his severed arm was actually unable to heal. This was hard for him to believe. Damn it, how could this be? The current Xianfeng's face was filled with madness. One had to know that the broken body previously, he could heal it, but now he actually could not heal his arm at all. There was not even a trace of possibility. What was going on? Those people below also had a look of astonishment. At this time, an old man frowned and said, "Could it be that because the original blood turned into a living human, so it could not heal?" Hearing this, many people came to a realization and felt that it was more likely, because previously the crimson figure was just a mass of energy. As long as the energy was still there, it could be immortal and indestructible. But now it devoured Xianfeng and turned into a human from an energy body. With life, although the strength was stronger, there were also more restrictions. At least it was impossible to be immortal and indestructible. So now that it was injured, it could not heal at all. Damn it, Xianfeng naturally knew this as well. That was why his body was filled with blood-red qi. A blood-red figure was struggling to get out of Xianfeng's body. However, how could Lin Xian give him this opportunity? One, a dragon-shaped sword shadow surged out from his body, and then appeared in the void, fusing with the ancient dragon abyss sword. Boom! A terrifying dragon-shaped sword qi slashed out. No! Xianfeng roared in front. That bloody figure also roared crazily, wanting to increase the speed of escaping. However, the power of this sword had far exceeded his imagination. Before he could escape, he was enveloped by the sword light. Boom! Boom! The entire sky was enveloped by the world of sword Tao, and countless sword qi pierced through all directions. Boom! A figure fell from the sky onto the ground. Everyone glanced at it, and their scalps went numb, because this figure was Xianfeng. At this moment, he had been split into 2 halves. Blood gushed out from his body, and he was no longer breathing. The crimson figure on his body was also slashed to pieces. This time, The slash was very thorough. It turned into a rain of blood that covered the sky and sprinkled on the ground. Dead. They were all dead. Regardless of whether it was Xianfeng or the crimson figure, they were all killed by this sword. Devil. He was a devil. Everyone, run. Looking at this scene, everyone fled in a frenzy. In the sky, Lin Xian's face was a little pale. He grabbed some elixir pills to recover. At the same time, the dragon-shaped sword shadow returned to his body. After fighting for so long, he had used up more than half of his stamina. Fortunately, he had many treasures in his hands, so he could still hold on. Ruzalong, how's your and Xiaobai's harvest? Lin Xian turned around and asked. At the side, the Crimson Dragon said, "We've robbed enough. It's enough." "That's good. Let's go." Lin Xian nodded, then strode forward. Since they had already robbed the general's residence of all the treasures, there was no need for them to stay. Now, they had to leave through the super teleportation formation. Otherwise, when General Xianing and the other super mighty arrived, it would be difficult for them to escape. Seeing that the other party wanted to use the super teleportation formation, many of them screamed in horror and quickly reported to General Xianing. "Tell him to come back. We have to catch this kid." General Xianing was not in the general's residence, but in the palace. The general's residence and the palace were separated by millions of miles. If General Xianing wanted to come back, unless he used the super teleportation formation, it would be impossible for him to come back in a short period of time. Also, it would take some time to transmit the news. Therefore, this time was enough for Lin Xian and the rest to leave. Boom. Pirates must die. The ancient sword flew across the sky and slashed down mercilessly. Anyone who dared to block the way was killed mercilessly. He was like a god of death striding forward. Behind Lin Xian, the dragon sword realm rolled and turned into a vortex. It also absorbed the surrounding energy to replenish his stamina. At the same time, there were a few divine crystals floating in it. Lin Xian had put them in to replenish his stamina. "No, I can't contact the general. He might be out and not in the palace, in the corner." A few elders quickly transmitted their voices, their expressions ugly. They had already sent a message to the palace, but there was no response. It seemed that General Xianing was not in the palace either, but they did not know where exactly he went. "Damn it, if the general doesn't come back, we can't stop this kid at all? Then what should we do? Do we just watch him use super teleportation to leave? But if this kid teleports away, he will definitely leave the dynasty. It will be difficult to find him in the future. And all of us will become the sinners who let him go. At that time, it will be difficult for us to survive." Their expressions were ugly. At this moment, an old man with a walking stick gritted his teeth and said, "This matter is too serious. We can't let this kid escape. Let's use the general's residence's foundation." "What? Do we really have to use that thing? But that thing is too precious. There's no other way. The situation is very special. I think after using it, the general will forgive us. As long as we can catch this kid, everything can be made up for." These few elders quickly discussed. Their eyes flickered and finally gritted their teeth and agreed. "Then we'll use the foundation of the general's residence." Apart from these mighty figures and peerless experts, the general's residence also had a powerful foundation. Usually they would not use it. They would only use it when the general's residence was facing a life and death crisis. This kind of foundation was a secret trump card. It would be used every time it was used. Therefore, they would not use it if they could. But now, they had no choice. Lin Xian had already forced them into a desperate situation. If they did not use it, the other party would probably escape. "Let's go and ask for the foundation. All of you, stop him for me. You must not let him escape." The old man with the walking stick roared angrily. Chapter 2232. Let's go get the foundation. All of you, stop him. Don't let him escape. The old man with the walking stick roared angrily. At the same time, he rose into the air and blocked the way. The other three old men rushed into the depths of the general's residence. It seemed that they were going to get the so-called foundation. How dare you come again? You're courting death. Looking at the cultivators gathering in front of him, Lin Xian snorted coldly. He did not expect these people to still dare to block the way. Were they not afraid of death? In the next moment, he waved his ancient sword, and a terrifying sword chi surged forward. The old man with the dragon-headed walking stick roared angrily. Everyone formed another formation to resist. Boom, boom. These people kept retreating, but the formation did not break. Lin Xian was surprised. He did not expect these people to still have such an exquisite formation. It seemed that the general's residence was indeed extraordinary. But so what? He had to leave today, so no matter how exquisite the formation was, it could not stop him. Boom. In the next moment, he used his sword technique again. And the sword chi was even more terrifying than before. Boom, boom. Cracks appeared in the formation in front of him. Many king realm cultivators vomited blood, and the old man with the walking stick also turned pale. A crack also appeared on his dragon-headed walking stick. It was obvious that he could not hold on much longer. Elder, are you still not done? The people behind him asked. The old man with the dragon-headed walking stick also had a gloomy expression. He said, "Wait a little longer. Our foundation will appear soon." Humph, you're courting death. Seeing that the other party still dared to block him and did not retreat, Lin Xian's eyes flashed with killing intent. In the next moment, the sword chi in his body surged again and became incomparably huge. It was about to slash down. Boom, boom, boom. Suddenly, an earth-shattering sound came from the depths of the general's residence. Countless lightning bolts descended, and the sky was filled with light that shot into the clouds. The scene was so terrifying that it attracted everyone's attention as soon as it appeared. Lin Xian also frowned and looked into the distance. The crimson dragon beside him also screamed. Damn, could it be that a heavenly treasure had appeared? He was indeed surprised, because this scene was similar to the appearance of a rare treasure. No, be careful. This aura is a little strange. Lin Xian, on the other hand, shook his head. He knew that it couldn't be some kind of treasure. It must have been caused by the people from the general's residence activating some kind of mechanism. Could it be that the general's residence still had some trump cards? In the distance, the sky was filled with golden light. The scene was very strange. In addition to the light that filled the sky, there was also a shocking power that was rapidly recovering. This power was extremely terrifying. As soon as it appeared, it surged in all directions. The entire general's residence was enveloped. Those king realm almighties were all trembling, and they couldn't help but want to kneel down. When Lin Xian saw this, he frowned as well. In the next moment, he snorted coldly and attacked. A beam of sword light slashed through the air like a vast ocean, slashing forward. The crimson dragon next to him also attacked. He stretched out a dragon claw, which blotted out the sky and covered the earth and slammed forward. He naturally felt the danger in front of him. They would not allow such a threat to happen. Boom, boom, boom. The terrifying sword light slashed down and landed on the golden light, causing a huge tremor. The crimson dragon claw slapped down mercilessly, tearing the void apart. In an instant, the front was flooded by violent energy. Not good. Seeing the scene, everyone was shocked. They didn't expect these two to be so decisive. They actually attacked at this time. Then, wouldn't their foundation be threatened? Damn brat. Stop it. Many people roared crazily, but it was useless. The terrifying energy in front of them exploded and swept in all directions, forcing the King Realm Almighties to activate their defenses. The King Realm Almighty's faces were gloomy. They were afraid that their foundation would be damaged. However, they soon heaved a sigh of relief. That was because after the aftermath of the energy dissipated, the terrifying golden light did not disappear. Instead, it became stronger and stronger. It was like a sun rising high in the sky. Seeing this scene, all of them became excited. The old man with the walking stick laughed arrogantly. There was a hint of malevolence on his old face. Ha ha! The old man laughed loudly. Kid, you're dead meat. The others also had sinister smiles on their faces. How dare you cause trouble in the general's residence? This time, no one will be able to save you. Do you really think that the general's residence is so easy to bully? Just wait and see. The foundation of the general's residence is about to be revealed. Kneel down and accept your death. Many people laughed sinisterly. Lin Xian also frowned. His and the Crimson Dragon's attack did not destroy the other party. It did not even cause the slightest impact. What exactly is this thing? Kid, be careful. This thing is very strange. At the side, the Crimson Dragon also frowned. That was because even he felt threatened by the thing in front of him. There were very few things that could threaten him. He really couldn't understand what it was. However, in the next moment, they saw it. The golden light rose high into the sky. Within the golden light that filled the sky, there was a scroll. It was a golden scroll. What was that? Lin Xian's frown deepened. In the distance, the old man with the walking stick suddenly knelt on the ground. The almighty kings behind him all knelt down, requesting the imperial edict. The old man shouted loudly. The almighty kings behind him shouted like a tsunami, requesting the imperial edict. Buzz. The golden scroll emitted a bright light. Then it slowly opened. Buzz. Pirates must die. When he opened a small gap, a terrifying light shot into the sky. The power became even stronger. It made people's hearts beat wildly. This was only a small gap. One could imagine how terrifying it would be when it was fully opened. Kid, do you see this? This is the imperial edict of the general's residence. Its power definitely surpasses that of a peerless almighty. What do you have to fight against us? Causing trouble in the general's residence is the biggest mistake you've made in your life. Little brat, just obediently die for me. I'll use your blood as a sacrifice to the general's residence. Although the almighty kings were kneeling, they laughed maniacally. This was because they knew that this imperial edict was their treasure. It was given to General Xian Ying by the current emperor. It was something left behind by an almighty king. No matter how strong that kid was, how could he resist it? Sure enough, the golden imperial edict in the sky opened with a whoosh. For simple words appeared on it. Heavenly gift, Xianing. Each of the 4 words was incomparably dazzling. They were like the sun, blooming with bright light. The energy contained in it was extremely terrifying. Even a peerless almighty could not resist it. This was the aura of an almighty king. The Crimson Dragon was extremely shocked. He said, Kid, be careful. This is something left behind by an almighty king. It contains mysterious power. Chapter 2233. The Crimson Dragon was extremely shocked. He said, Kid, be careful. This is something left behind by an invincible king. It contains mysterious power. Lin Xian also frowned and took a deep breath. An invincible king was an existence even more terrifying than a peerless, mighty figure. Moreover, it seemed that this imperial edict was not left behind by an ordinary invincible king, It was very likely left behind by the current emperor. Such a person had lived in the depths of the palace for many years and absorbed the dragon veins of the earth. He had already reached an extremely terrifying realm. Every move of his could cause a phenomenon of heaven and earth, not to mention these words that were specially bestowed to generals. There was definitely an incomparably terrifying energy contained within, and it even contained the will of an invincible king. No matter how powerful a peerless, mighty figure was, he could not compete with the will of an invincible king. As expected, when the 4 glowing golden words appeared in the sky, all the king realm almighties below began to tremble. Deep fear appeared in their eyes, and even their souls felt a pressure, as if they would be extinguished at any time. "Kid, go to hell." Angry roars could be heard as the golden imperial edict in the sky slowly descended. The 4 words on it emitted a dazzling light like a golden sword that could pierce through the void and kill a peerless, mighty figure. Everyone's faces were filled with madness. They knew that this kid was definitely going to die. No one could resist this imperial edict because it contained the will of an invincible king. Boom. As expected, the place where Lin Xian was at instantly exploded. It could not withstand this power at all. The terrifying aura caused Lin Xian to furrow his brows. He instantly summoned a dragon-shaped sword shadow and circled around him. On the other side, the crimson dragon's body also glowed. Dragon blood surged, forming a powerful defense. Boom, boom. It was as if there were thousands of mountains above them, forcing them to quickly descend. Boom. The crimson dragon's body descended, as if they had been struck by lightning, and cracks appeared on their bodies. Blood flowed from the corner of Lin Xian's mouth, but his eyes became brighter and brighter. They were like 2 divine lamps that were about to break through the sky. "Kid, don't take it head on." The crimson dragon roared and rolled forward to resist the will of the invincible king. However, he couldn't resist it at all. Although he was a dragon, he was now just an ordinary almighty. Compared to an invincible king, the difference between the 2 of them was too great. It was like a chasm between heaven and earth. Was this the power of an invincible king? He was indeed very powerful. Although Lin Xian was injured, he wasn't afraid. Instead, a trace of hot blood boiled in his body. "It seems like my path of martial arts is still very long." "One day, I will also become an invincible king." Lin Xian clenched his fists. He had a goal in mind. "I must become an invincible king as soon as possible." Only then would he be able to suppress a part of the world. In the distance, those people were laughing maniacally. "Brat, accept your fate. It's impossible for you to resist." This was the will of an invincible king. Go to hell, and repent. When those people saw that Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon were injured, they laughed crazily. They knew that it wouldn't be long before the 2 of them collapsed and turned into clouds of blood mist. "You want to kill me? Not so easy. Not even the will of an invincible king." Lin Xian sneered. He had already felt the will of an invincible king and knew where his path of martial arts should be. Therefore, he wasn't prepared to fight head-on. In the next moment, he waved his palm, and a ball of white light appeared in front of him. He actually wanted to fight against the will of an invincible king. He was courting death. Seeing that Lin Xian still wanted to resist, those people sneered. However, they were soon stunned. That was because they realized that the aura emitted by the ball of white light was extremely terrifying, causing their souls to tremble. Its power was not weaker than the Golden Imperial Edict at all. Damn it, what was that? Those people were extremely terrified. They suddenly raised their heads and looked forward. Within the ball of white light, there was a white bone that was only the size of a finger. The bone was extremely white, like white jade, and it flowed with the radiance of divinity. As soon as it appeared, it crushed the void and brought about an endless gust of wind. The surrounding void instantly collapsed and cracks swept in all directions. A terrifying force pierced through heaven and earth. Lin Xian gently took off the white bone. His voice was cold. So, what if it's the will of an invincible king? Today, I'll break the so-called invincible king. Boom. The white bone in Lin Xian's hand suddenly erupted with incomparable power. This was the power of a sage. Although an invincible king was powerful, he was still a king. On the other hand, a sage was an existence that surpassed the king realm. There was an entire realm between the two. That was the true difference between heaven and earth. To be honest, the imperial edict of an invincible king was very terrifying. No one below the invincible king level could resist it. Even a peerless, mighty figure couldn't resist it. However, no matter how much the people of the general's estate thought about it, they didn't expect that Lin Xian had an even more terrifying trump card. That was the bone of a sage. Anything related to a sage was extraordinary and beyond common sense. It had reached an unimaginable level. In the next moment, Lin Xian unlocked a seal on the sage's bone. Boom. Pirates must die. An incomparably terrifying aura of a sage rushed out and spread in all directions. The void collapsed in an instant, unable to withstand it at all. In front of him, the endless golden light was also impacted and quickly retreated like the sea. Damn it! What happened? Impossible! Heavens! I don't believe it! Below, the powerhouses of the general's estate all went crazy. They were all dumbfounded. Those elders were even more shocked and couldn't believe it. What did they see? The will of an invincible king, the golden imperial edict, was actually retreating. This made them feel like they were dreaming. That was the imperial edict of the emperor. It contained the power of an invincible king and was extremely terrifying. In the world, probably only a true invincible king could resist it. But now, such a powerful treasure was actually retreating and seemed to be trembling. What exactly was that white thing? Could it be that it had surpassed an invincible king? They didn't dare to imagine. They only felt that the young man in front of them was incomparably mysterious and impossible to guess. Perhaps it was a huge mistake for the general's estate to provoke such a young man. Boom, boom. However, they didn't have time to think too much. When the pressure of the bone of the sage's hand was released, heaven and earth collapsed. Even if the golden imperial edict contained the will of an invincible king, it couldn't withstand it at all. Damn it! Hurry up and put it away! The old man with the walking stick shouted coldly. He had already seen that even if he took out the golden imperial edict, he wouldn't be a match for the other party. It was very likely that it would be damaged by the impact. In that case, he might as well put it away quickly. After all, this was the foundation of the general's estate. If it was damaged, it would definitely not be worth it. Chapter 2234. In the next moment, the three elders faced the sky and resisted the powerful pressure. They wanted to put away the imperial edict. However, Lin Xian sneered. Why, you want to stop now? It's too late. As he said that, he unlocked the second seal. Boom. The pressure of the sage's hand bone increased again. A terrifying storm spread in all directions with the hand bone as the center. Boom, boom, boom. The sky collapsed and the ground cracked. Nothing could withstand it. The experts and mighty figures below were sent flying. They vomited blood. The weaker ones were directly blown into a bloody mist. The Golden Imperial Edict was the first to bear the brunt of the impact. Cracks instantly appeared on the surface, and the four simple and unadorned characters collapsed with a boom. Boom, 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 boom. The sky collapsed, and the earth cracked. Then, the golden imperial edict split in half from the middle and turned into countless flames that burned fiercely. Finally, it disappeared into the sky. What? The imperial edict was destroyed. How is that possible? Everyone went crazy. They did not expect that the foundation that they were so proud of would be so fragile. In front of the enemy, it was destroyed before it could even launch an attack. In the end, it turned into a pile of waste paper and fell to the ground. They could not believe it. At the same time, they felt a deep sense of despair. Among them, the elder with the dragon-headed walking stick was covered in blood. He screamed loudly, "Damn it! How dare you destroy the imperial edict? You're dead meat. You're blaspheming his majesty. No matter where you run to, Tai dynasty will not let you go." "Noisy!" Lin Xian snorted coldly and flicked a ray of sword chi, which instantly pierced through the elder's head. Meanwhile, he controlled the sage's hand bone and was domineering. Wherever he passed, nothing could stop him. The general's residence was now in ruins. Only the place where the super teleportation formation was still intact. That was because Lin Xian had deliberately left it there. He would not destroy the super teleportation formation. When he got close, Lin Xian sealed the sage's hand bone again. His face was slightly pale. At that moment, he only had 1/5 of the spiritual power in his body left and would soon be exhausted. Fortunately, the entire general's residence had been destroyed to pieces. Under the pressure of the saint's hand bone, there was no one who could contend against him. Soon, the Crimson Dragon stepped forward and activated the array. Then, Lin Xian threw out several divine crystals. The entire super formation shone brightly as countless runes flickered. Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon stepped onto the super array. At this time, the Crimson Dragon transmitted its voice. "Kid, this teleportation formation can send you in 3 directions. One of them was the Imperial Palace, while the other 2 were from other dynasties." Julie and Yinshang. "Go to Julie." Lin Xian transmitted his voice, and then the Crimson Dragon waved its hand, and endless runes wrapped around the 2 of them. Whoosh! In the next moment, the 2 of them teleported away and disappeared. As for the surviving martialists in the general's mansion, they shrieked hysterically when they saw this scene. "Quick, hurry and find the general. Be sure to report the news to him." These people were crazy. They were willing to pay any price to transmit the news. They also contacted the Crown Prince and the Empress. After all, Lin Xian's escape was too big a matter for them to bear. The Imperial Palace. This was the center of the Tai dynasty, and its territory was vast and boundless. In the Imperial Palace, there was a drunken immortal tavern that attracted all the beauties in the world. It was said that even immortals did not want to leave. In the drunken immortal tavern, the largest room was surrounded by spiritual energy. It was like a fairyland. Beautiful women danced in front of it, and spiritual tea and spiritual fruits were placed casually. There were a few figures sitting in the room, drinking wine and watching the dance. Among them, there was a young figure. He was wearing a yellow robe with a 5-clawed golden dragon embroidered on it. If anyone saw that, they would definitely scream in shock. That was because only the members of the imperial family could wear the yellow robe. Moreover, ordinary members of the imperial family would not dare to wear it. Only the crown prince or the emperor would dare to wear such a robe. Of course, that young man was neither the emperor nor the crown prince. He was the crown prince. The crown prince drank while hugging 2 beauties in his arms. He said in a deep voice, "How's the defense of our 12 main cities?" Next to him, a middle-aged man smiled and said, "Don't worry, crown prince. The 12 main cities are heavily guarded. We've sent a large number of experts to guard them. Anyone below the invincible king level will be courting death if they enter." As long as that kid rushes to the 12 main cities, we can take him down in minutes. Another old man also said. They were hugging beauties in their arms, and their faces were filled with smugness. At that moment, another dignified, middle-aged man also spoke. Don't worry, Crown Prince. The trap this time is perfect. That kid will definitely not be able to escape. The dignified, middle-aged man was General Xianying. They no longer set up the inescapable trap. They were only waiting for news. Therefore, at that moment, they were not worried. Instead, they were here to have fun. When the Crown Prince heard that, he laughed smugly, and his eyes shone with a terrifying light. That's good. When I capture that kid and send him to the war tribe, I'll see how he dies. The two beauties in his arms also laughed along with him. Bang, bang, bang. However, at that moment, there was a series of hurried knocks on the door. Hearing that sound, the Crown Prince frowned. The other people inside also frowned. One of the middle-aged men said coldly, "What's the matter? Don't you know that the Crown Prince is here? Didn't I say not to disturb him?" Reporting to the Crown Prince, "The matter is urgent, and we have no choice but to report it." The Crown Prince replied quickly, "What's the matter? Where did the news come from? Did that kid get caught?" The other old man also asked quickly, "It's indeed about that kid. However what? Hurry up and tell me. I don't know either. I only know that the news came from General Xianying's residence, and it even reached the palace. They used 3 urgent secret orders." What? It came from General Xianying's residence? Hearing that, those people were stunned. That's not right. If it's about that kid, shouldn't it come from the 12 main cities? They were extremely puzzled. General Xianying's face darkened, and a hint of coldness appeared in his eyes. "Come in. Where's the secret report? Give it to me." He had a bad feeling, so he had to quickly verify it. The door opened, and a guard quickly walked in. He knelt on one knee on the ground and held a jade slip with both hands. General Xianying waved his hand and grabbed the jade slip. Then he opened it. Streams of information turned into streams of light and entered the space between his brows. In the next moment, his face darkened and a sharp light burst out from his eyes, instantly tearing the void in front of him apart. Not only that, a terrifying murderous aura rose from his body and enveloped the surroundings. Sensing that murderous aura, the Crown Prince frowned. The others' expressions also changed, and their bodies were even trembling. That was because the Xianying general was too terrifying. "Uncle, what happened?" Seeing that scene, the Crown Prince hurriedly asked, "Could it be that the kid escaped?" "That's right, great general." "What happened?" The others were also puzzled. They had never seen General Xianying so angry. Come to think of it, it must be something shocking. Chapter 2235. General Xianying did not say anything. He waved his hand, and the jade slip floated in the air. Countless rays of light appeared. Then a heart-wrenching voice was heard. "General, our general's residence has been destroyed by that kid. He took the super teleportation array and escaped." "What?" Hearing that, everyone was dumbfounded. The Crown Prince's eyes widened in disbelief. These people were really dumbfounded. What did they hear? The general's residence was destroyed? That kid escaped? Heavens, how is that possible? Damn it, we miscalculated. That kid did not go to the 12 main cities, but went to the general's residence. That's right, other than the 12 main cities. Only the general's residence and the prince's residence had super teleportation arrays. However, both the prince's residence and the general's residence were extremely heavily guarded. Ordinary people would not dare to cause trouble there. They did not expect that kid to be so bold as to go to the general's residence. That was impossible. The general's residence was so powerful that even a peerless, mighty figure could not break in. How could that kid enter? These people discussed animatedly. They did not quite believe the news. The crown prince also frowned. He pushed away the two beauties in his arms and stood up. Uncle, the news should be fake, right? To be honest, he did not quite believe it either. What kind of place was the general's residence? How could they let that kid leave? However, General Xianying's expression was gloomy. Let's go back to the general's residence to take a look. It was useless to say anything now. He had to hurry back and take a look at the situation to find out. Uncle, I'll go with you. The crown prince was also worried. After all, this matter was very important and related to whether he could become the crown prince. Therefore, he had to make a trip there personally. Let's go together. The middle-aged men and old men also stood up one after another. The group left the Drunken Immortal Inn and quickly arrived at the palace. They used the super teleportation array and returned to the general's residence. Buzz, the array flickered. When they appeared, they looked at the surrounding ruins in shock. How was that possible? The general's residence had really been destroyed. The middle-aged men and elders were shocked and could not believe it. Around them, palaces had collapsed and the ground had cracked. The surrounding mountains and trees had all fallen. There was nothing intact at all. If there was one place that was intact, it would be the super teleportation array beneath their feet. Other than that, everything else was destroyed. Blood splattered all over the ground. The pungent smell of blood made everyone frown. One could imagine how fierce the battle was. Damn it, how did this happen? The first prince's face also darkened. The scene before him indicated that there had been an earth-shattering battle. It was very likely that the other party had really escaped. General Xianying's expression was incomparably ferocious. This was his residence, and at this moment, it was actually destroyed to such an extent. How could he not be angry? The surroundings of the general's mansion were filled with corpses. There were also some surviving martial artists who were meditating and recuperating. When they saw General Xianying, the first prince, and the others arrive, they all stood up and cried emotionally. General, you're here. General, you have to avenge us. That brat deserves to die. He actually dared to destroy our general's residence. You must kill him. These people roared crazily. They were injured, and their expressions were incomparably ferocious. General Xianying shouted coldly, "Where was Xianfeng? Where is it? Where were the magic crystal guru and the four symbols kings? Tell them to come out and see me." He was enraged, truly enraged. Although he was not in the general's residence, the general's residence had countless super-killing arrays and two peerless powerhouses and a terrifying foundation. All of this, as long as it was not an invincible monarch personally coming, no one could attack his general's residence. However, the current scene left him in a daze. The surroundings were completely destroyed beyond recognition. Therefore, he had to find someone to ask clearly, "General, we're here." With a flash of light, venerable magic crystal, and the four symbols kings came out. The two of them were also covered with injuries all over. Their faces were pale without any color of blood. What was going on? Even these two peerless powerhouses were injured too. Those middle-aged men and elders who followed behind felt their scalps tingle when they saw this scene. The first prince's expression was even uglier. These two were peerless powerhouses. They were actually injured too. Just how many people did that brat bring here? Just what kind of background did that brat have? How could he possibly have so many powerhouses? However, venerable magic crystal and the four symbols kings laughed bitterly. That brat did not bring any powerhouses, just him and a flood dragon, and a little white monkey. Other than that, there was no one else. Pirates must die. What? One man and two demons destroyed the entire general's residence? How was this possible? Could it be that those two demon kings were 8-star demon kings? An 8-star demon king was equivalent to an 8-star monarch, which was also the realm of a peerless powerhouse. In their opinion, only such an existence could destroy the general's residence. However, the two peerless powerhouses shook their heads again. No, none of their cultivation surpassed that of a peerless powerhouse. They were probably all in the realm of a peerless powerhouse. They were all in the realm of a peerless powerhouse. These newcomers were all crazy. Heavens, how was this possible? The first prince's expression was even gloomier. Damn it! He was so angry that he gritted his teeth, but there was nothing he could do, because previously the other party had successfully killed the Golden Lion King. It could be said that the other party's methods were very powerful. He did not expect that he would destroy the general's residence now. At this moment, General Xianing asked in a deep voice, "Where was Xianfeng?" As soon as these words came out, all the martial artists in the general's residence fell silent and lowered their heads. General Xianying's expression was even gloomier. What was going on? Where was he? Get him to come out and see me. Lord Xianfeng had been killed. An old man said in a low voice. What? He was killed. The first prince and the rest were stunned. Xianying was even more stunned. Then, a sharp light burst out from his eyes. He roared at the sky, shattering the surrounding void. Damn it! What was going on? How could he be killed? He was killed by that kid. These people roughly explained the situation of the 10 directions absolute kill formation. Hearing this, General Xianying and the rest's expression became even gloomier. The 10-directional death array was infamous. Even a peerless powerhouse could not withstand it. But now, the other party had broken through it. He even killed his younger brother. He deserved to die 1,000 times. Damn it, where is that kid? I must capture him. I must tear him into pieces. General Xianying's killing intent was overflowing. Previously, he wanted to capture the other party to give the war tribe an explanation. But now he was doing it for himself. His general's residence was destroyed. His younger brother was killed. It was all because of that kid. Therefore, he must capture him. That kid escaped using the super teleportation array. The martial artists in the general's residence quickly said, "What? He really escaped." Hearing this, the few old men and middle-aged men were stunned. The first prince and General Xianying's expressions were gloomy to the extreme. Among them, the first prince roared, "Damn it, how could it be? You two peerless powerhouses have so many killing arrays. Why did you let him escape?" Chapter 2236. Facing the first prince's anger. These people trembled in fear. However, they could only say helplessly, "That kid is too strong. Even if we use all our strength, we won't be his match." What about your foundation? Didn't you use your foundation? Do you know how important that kid is? You could have used your foundation. General Xianying also asked in a deep voice. His murderous aura, accompanied by his voice, constantly surged in the air. Black holes appeared in the void, one after another. We've used our foundation, but we still can't stop that kid. At this moment, another old man said. These words were like a bolt from the blue, knocking them unconscious. General Xianying, in particular, was even more shocked. He couldn't believe it. What did you say? Even our foundation can't stop that kid? How is that possible? That's the Emperor's imperial edict that contains the will of an invincible king. How could a kid like him withstand it? Not to mention him. No one below the invincible king level could stand up to him. The first prince's voice was like thunder. To be honest, when they heard the news, The first prince and the others were about to go crazy. They couldn't believe that someone could destroy the emperor's imperial edict. General Xianing's face was also gloomy. He gritted his teeth and asked, "Damn it, what's going on? Tell me clearly. Don't tell me a single word." Soon, the kings of the generals' residence began to explain the entire process. They recounted all the details. Half an hour later, they finished. After General Xianing, the first prince, and the others heard this, their faces became even gloomier. They didn't expect the other party to have so many trump cards, especially at the end, when they heard that the other party had only used a white bone to destroy the Golden Imperial Edict. They exclaimed in shock. That was because it was too heaven-defying, too dreamy. They couldn't believe it. "General, what should we do now?" an old man asked. General Xianing snorted coldly. "What else can we do? We have to capture that kid. Just you wait. I'll return to the palace now." How dare he destroy the Golden Imperial Edict? This is no longer a provocation to the general's residence. This is contempt for the emperor. "I'll report this matter to the emperor. Don't worry, no one can save him. Even if he left the Tai dynasty, he could still kill him." Next, the first prince, General Xianing, and the others left the general's residence again and used the teleportation formation to return to the Tai dynasty's palace. The empress was already waiting, and the elders who supported the first prince were also gathered here. They had already heard the news about the general's residence and were discussing it nervously. When General Xianing and the first prince arrived, the elders all stood up one after another. Among them, the empress's eyes flickered as she asked, "How was it?" Did that brat really escape? He had indeed escaped, but he had also committed a heinous crime. He had actually destroyed the Golden Decree. Humph! This is the contempt of the royal family. The imperial family will never let him off. An elder coldly snorted. The other elder's eyes flickered. "I remember that your super teleportation formation in the general's mansion can teleport to 3 places. One of them was the imperial palace. The other 2 places should be Jiuli and Insham." That was right. General Xianing nodded. "The imperial palace can be ruled out. As for the other 2 dynasties, we will send people to search. At the same time, I will report this matter to His Majesty and ask him to send an army. Also, tell Zhang Wuhan of the War tribe about this. That brat is very strong and has many trump cards in his hands. I think it's best to let the War tribe's experts deal with him personally. All right, I'll make arrangements now." The empress also nodded and prepared to tell Zhang Wuhan personally. In an instant, everyone split up and took action. As for General Xianing, he strode towards the Grand Imperial Hall. Soon, an imperial decree arrived. The world was shocked. Because of this imperial decree, the hunt for Lin Xian was once again announced. This time, it wasn't just the entire Tai dynasty, but the entire middle ground. Moreover, they didn't want Lin Xian alive this time. It could be said that they wanted to see Lin Xian alive or dead. Even if he was killed, bringing him back would still be a meritorious service. One could imagine that His Majesty was really angry. When the imperial decree came out, the world was shocked. The entire Tai dynasty was abuzz with discussion. They didn't expect Lin Xian to do another earth-shattering thing. It couldn't be helped. Such a big thing like the destruction of the general's residence couldn't be hidden. In an instant, it swept the world. On the 8th prince's side, when he received the news, he was both happy and worried. He was happy that Lin Xian had finally left the Tai dynasty. This way, the danger to Lin Xian would be reduced by a lot. However, what worried him was that although Lin Xian had left, he had caused a torrential rage. In fact, his father even issued another imperial decree. Moreover, this time, the reward was even more generous. This was the wrath of the emperor, and it would be difficult to calm down. Therefore, at this moment, The eighth prince gathered a group of elders to discuss in the palace. A few of the elders said, "Eighth prince, it's better not to worry about that kid. He'll probably find a place to hide after leaving the dynasty. He'll come out in a few decades. By then, the storm will have died down. Therefore, as long as he hides carefully, he won't be in danger. However, I think we should make a plan. If this matter implicates you, I'm afraid that the first prince will use it as a pretext to make a fuss." "That's right." "After all, you're just a prospective crown prince. You can only relax when you become the real crown prince." It was obvious that these people were worried that the first prince would attack them. In short, because of Lin Xian's departure, the entire palace was in an uproar. Pirates must die. In fact, the entire dynasty was stirred up. Countless experts went to the Nine Li dynasty and the Yinshang dynasty to capture Lin Xian. General Xianying even mobilized a large number of experts to go to the two dynasties in the name of the imperial decree. Moreover, their targets were clear. The teleportation formation was sent in two directions. One was Wanrun City of the Nine Li dynasty, and the other was Baiyun City of the Yinshang dynasty. Therefore, they were also teleported to the two cities. Wanrun City of the Nine Li dynasty. A huge teleportation formation suddenly shone brightly. Seeing this scene, a few martial artists who were in charge of guarding the teleportation formation frowned. They were puzzled. What was going on? They hadn't received any orders to teleport over recently. One of them was holding an array plate, and his eyes were flickering. This aura came from the Tai dynasty's general's residence. Tai dynasty? What were they doing here? They hadn't received any orders. These martial artists were discussing animatedly. However, at this moment, a light flashed, and then two figures appeared. "Stop! Who are you?" "You're tuning in to the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.